Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The immaculate conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the son of God. To you was kind of odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings, the black Jesus, and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai.
Hebrew Israelites, Kwam Yashala.
It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Here, welcome to live class here at ISVHBK. We're located here in Houston, Texas, that is. And the zip code is the address is 8524 South Bracewood Boulevard, Houston, Texas. The zip code is 77071. We have a school located in San Antonio, Texas, and their address is 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas. Zip code 78217. And also we have a school located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And the address for that school is 501 Copper Ave, Northwest Albuquerque. Again, it's 501 Copper Ave, Northwest Albuquerque, New Mexico. The zip code for that school is 87102. If you would like to send any donations, you can send donations to those school locations as well. And also in Albuquerque, New Mexico, we have Priest Mashaba out there. And Priest Mashaba does the Blog Talk Radio. And it's from Monday through Friday, every morning at 9:30 a.m. Perfect way to start your morning. And if you would like that link for the Blog Talk Radio in the morning, it's blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, which is MASHAHBA. You can catch them Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 a.m. To reach the teachers, please text only during class. We have Priest Kazakia. His number is 281-707-2737. And right here to my left, we have Priest Kwatazap Ash, 303-557-8979. And here in Houston, Texas, man, we have our class schedules Monday through Friday. Monday and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Fridays from 6 to 9 p.m. And Shabbat, Sabbath, morning class is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We also have kids classes that we do every Sunday, and it's from 11 to 12 p.m. Have your kids check those classes out. And on our YouTube channel, isvhbk.com. Well, not .com, just YouTube, ISVHBK. Share, like, subscribe. And we have all of our classes on there, over 600 classes. Also, we have classes we have ISVHBK Kids for the kids as well. Those classes for kids are for kids under the age of 12. And what else we got? Passover's coming up, and it's on April the 1st. And it's going to be in Houston, Texas. The location is still to be announced, but the city and state is Houston, Texas. We'll be hosting it. So if you feel affiliated, if you would like to celebrate the Passover, if you are in the Houston, Texas area, please check out the Passover. The scripture says, "Gather together, gather together, O nation not desired." And the Passover is it's a very high holy day. So
It's the highest.
The highest.
Holy convocation, right? So we definitely got to come together for that. If you want to join the Passover, if you want to be with us for the Passover, just hit us up, let us know, and get you all the details.
That's it. And we need garment money for the Passover. So if you would like to have your garment made for the Passover, please contact us, get the information. Get some information so we can have it knocked out as quickly as possible. We have stopped all Israel War orders until April the 15th. Purim is coming up March the 16th. And that's in how many days? Oh, that's like in a month, right?
That's in a month, yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly a month. So Purim will be a month from now, which is March the 16th. And we still got the Penny Wars contest going on, but Purim is on March the 16th. So prepare for the Purim and also prepare for the Passover as well. They'll be coming back to back. And if you have all forms of contributions are welcome and accepted and are needed, especially for the Passover. If you'd like to donate towards the lamb, if you'd like to donate towards the location, please, it's greatly appreciated, it's greatly needed. We try to get about 8 lambs. They cost about $250 for one. So that's about $2,000 just for the lambs. That's not including the location. So if you would like to send in a form of donation to help with the Passover, please, it's needed and it's loved and it's required. Well, it's not required, but it'll help big time. And also, if you'd like to help out with the rent for the school, please, it's needed and welcome as well. And we got the Wells Fargo account number on the screen. And if you'd like to Google Wallet any money, the Google Wallet address is isbhpk@gmail.com. And if you'd like to send in any books, apocryphas, Bibles, Zondervans, Complete Jewish, the Annotated Bible, dictionaries, notebooks, pens, papers, highlighters, menorahs, ram's horns, Torahs, anything is greatly appreciated. I mean, it's all going back to your people. Computers, tablets, all that, cars, it's all needed, and it's all love.
It's all needed, it's all welcome. Yeah, whatever y'all can give, we appreciate it. We appreciate everyone that's given. All those online that have donated, we definitely appreciate it, okay? That's it for announcements, right? Perfect. So what we're gonna do, I know we usually do questions the first hour, but what we're gonna do is, we're gonna continue this betrayal class that we did, okay? We're gonna continue that, and then we're gonna take questions at the end. I just want to get the rest of these scriptures out, and then whatever questions y'all have online or in-house, we'll get those towards the end, time permitting. All right, so who was here for that last class?
Done.
Oh, wow, okay. Nice. So the majority. Aria, brief synopsis of what we hit.
Basically, about Christ and Judas Iscariot. And
Right.
Judas Iscariot was the betrayer. He was a thief. He was a robber from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And Christ, knowing all things, knew that, but stayed the path of bringing Judas Iscariot into becoming a disciple. And knowing that, he still had the chance to change. He still had the chance to change or repent and not do those things. But he stayed that path, and knowing that, us not knowing in our daily walk who's gonna betray us and who's gonna stay, right? We still have to stay and follow the path that Christ did, Yahushua did, and for no excuse.
Right. So, I mean, you said a lot there, but yeah, it's all on point. What were some of the key points that we were trying to bring out about betrayal? You remember, John? Were you here?
Yeah.
What were some of the key points?
Like Yahushua let Judas walk his path.
Right.
And
Let
also,
him walk his path.
Basically, Judas was in charge of the money.
Right.
And he knew he was stealing, but he just still gave him a chance to, repent.
Right. Well, that's good. And yeah, Yahushua and Judas, Christ and Judas, that story of betrayal is really like the backdrop. It's the backdrop to the class, right? Where betrayal didn't come in that only instance. Betrayal comes in many instances. You know, and we brought it out that one of the big things was a lot of elders from the past. They feel betrayed or felt betrayed because of the way things went with brothers under them and younger brothers, right? So we were bringing a little bit of that out. Who has their hand up? Ariana.
And also, it was to teach us that in what you said that even though like the scripture says, it says that offenses will come, right?
Right.
So you can't get caught up in the semantics of a person or a brother or a sister or a wife or a husband or a child offending you. You're still supposed to be abiding in your labor.
Right.
Because we weren't sent or we weren't chosen. Christ said he wasn't sent to do his own will, but the one who sent him.
Right.
So we were chosen as a royal priesthood, as a royal generation, to be amongst the world, right? So once we're chosen, we got to put away our feelings, our personal agendas aside, and continue and abide in our labor, in the labor that we were placed in.
Right. Perfect.
The thing that stood out the most for me was just remembering, like Arya said, why we were called, the Most High called us, and because the Most High called us, everything we do, the labor that we abide in, the service that we do, it's for the nation, it's for the Most High.
Right.
So we can't get caught up in the offenses and trying to control what another person's doing, because that path that they're on, that's their path, just like our path that we're on is ours. We have to keep going down that path because of who we're doing it for.
Right, because one of the points was, there was a few points, but one of the main points that I tried to bring out was that betrayal is going to come from within regardless. What's that?
Yeah, what I have put in my notes from that class, like, we have to expect it because that's what the scriptures say.
Right.
And Christ was telling the disciples to like letting them know these things to prepare them.
Right.
So they're not caught off guard when these things happen to them. Like he said, you know, is the servant greater than his master? You know, things that I went through, you're gonna go through too.
Mm-hmm. You looking young back there. What's up? You looking young for some reason.
I saved a little bit.
Oh, okay. What's up?
That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm like, he looks different.
Yeah.
Him look young. Like he went back to them school days.
Yeah, high school right now.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Like that. What I got from the last time it was that when we be betrayed, it's not gonna come from somebody that's in the world.
Right.
It's gonna be somebody that you laboring amongst. That the betrayal is gonna come.
Right, because that's the only way betrayal can happen, right? Is where I know you. I know the things about you. It's like Judas. Judas knew things about Christ. He knew where he was going to be. He knew what he was saying. And he used these things to entrap him. Right? So that was one of the points, that betrayal was going to come from within. So once we got that in our minds that this is where it's going to come from, then the preparation begins, right? So then we touched on a few scriptures. That's Psalms 41:9. Just showing my own familiar friend is going to be the one that puts his hand against me. Who was Saul? David talking about? He's talking about Saul, right?
So
what's that?
I'm gonna say you got Saul and you got his children. Absolutely.
Children. Oh, right. Yeah. Another acquaintance, right? Somebody that's close in.
Right.
Right?
And you got Joab. You got Joab who killed his brother, who killed his son.
Mm-hmm.
You got plenty of.
Right. So there was a lot of betrayal going on. But the point was, did it turn David into some wicked dude? Did it stop David from executing his mission and doing what the Most High set before him? No. So what's that?
If anything, it's to make you look and realize to draw closer to the Most High in those instances.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Because we get in our daily walk, in our daily lives, we got this. Okay, we always say Baruch how about Shemi Shai when good things always come, right? But can you still have the same validity and same force and the same in the same praise to the Most High, Barakatah, how about Shemi Shah, when it's drastic. At that moment, the ball drops, the mic drops, your gut drops, and it's that pain.
Can you apply it through adversity?
Exactly.
That's where a lot of us mess up, where our application gets lost through the trial. When that's when you're really supposed to apply. Right? What were you gonna? You had your hand up. Yeah, Jeremiah.
I was gonna say second to your Howard, I think the perfect example of your class would be like Joseph.
Yeah.
Because when his brothers betrayed him, but even in that, when his brothers were expecting him to retaliate to them when him
right.
Gone, he just gave praise to the Most High.
High. He said, "Listen, the Most High put me here to save your lives. He put me through that to save y'all." Because what was Joseph doing though? Joseph didn't look at what he went through in the moment. He looked at the conditions that were going on around him. He looked at the drought and was like, wait a minute, if I wasn't here, y'all would be dead. So he didn't take that moment either to like boast and brag, like, yeah, see what I'm doing? He's like, the Most High put me here for y'all, to help, to preserve my family. You know, and it's even with Christ. Think about it. When they ran up on Christ, when Judas betrayed him with the kiss, and they ran up on Christ, they cut the centurion's ear. What did Christ do? Did he say, oh yeah, it's wartime? He healed him and said, listen.
Those who live by the sword
die by the sword, yeah, and then they took him off, right? He could have fought it, but he was looking at the bigger picture. You know, and that's the next point that we hit. Basically, it wouldn't be personal if you followed, you wouldn't take betrayal personal if you followed the examples that we have. Because the example is one that I have not come to do the will of my own, but the will of him that sent me. I still got to do my job regardless of who's around. It don't matter if it's one brother or 50. Somebody still got to teach. Somebody still got to hit the mall flyers. It still has to get done. So, and there's a lot of different ways to look at it. There's a lot of different ways to look at it when brothers and sisters do leave. Yes, they're going through their battle. They're going through their battle, and a lot of the time is, people leave, they're going through their battle, but if you take this, that they're leaving or they're not around, if you take it personal, you know what that doesn't allow? It doesn't allow for one thing. Who knows? They leave, you take it personal, what happens? What's that?
It's like you become stagnant. You don't give yourself spiritual growth because you're supposed to be able to look and recognize what's going on.
Well, true, yeah. But one of the main things it doesn't allow for is forgiveness. It doesn't allow for when it's time for them to get back to work, you still looking at them like
you don't want to left.
You left, yeah. You still have that negative outlook in you of, oh, you left. But they're ready to get back to work. Let's get back to work, right? That's how it should be. Oh, you left? Well, let's act like you didn't leave and let's just keep it moving. But are we going to be naive like, no, you're going to be sensitive to know that, okay, this person had a battle. Let's make sure that they conquer their battle and then keep moving forward. We're not going to be naive to their battle or whatever they're going through or what they went through or whatever pulled them out. You can't be naive to that. But you can't be like, oh, yeah, you left. I can't mess with you now. Or I'm gonna keep you at arm's length, cold shoulder, right? We have to allow ourselves the ability to forgive and the ability to move forward. Like the scriptures say, not looking at the things of the past, but looking forward. Paul said that, right? What is that, in Romans? Get that. Somebody get that for me. It's in Romans. It's in Romans. Yeah, it's Romans. Let's see, it's Romans. But y'all understand so far, right? Y'all want to get that because it's important to the point. It's important to the point. What Paul said it best, man. Oh, it's Philippians 3:13, right? Yeah, Philippians. Yeah, Philippians chapter 3 and verse 13. Somebody get that for me.
Philippians chapter 3 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended.
See, Paul was putting himself, Paul was checking himself. Because a lot of us, we get high-minded. We look at a person, they leave, it's like, oh, I see you left. But we forget that, yo, at any minute you could leave. At any minute, your spirit could be off and you could be the betrayer. Like the scriptures say, the deceiver is his. At any minute, you can be the betrayed, but you can be the betrayer. And we forget these things. So Paul was putting us back in check, like, brethren, I have not counted myself as apprehended, meaning I haven't done nothing. I haven't done nothing yet. Go ahead.
But I follow after.
But I do what?
I follow after.
No.
Oh, so but this one thing I do.
He said, but this one thing I do. Go ahead.
Forgetting those things which are behind.
Why? Because the past is the past. Do we learn from the past? Of course. But do we dwell on the past? No. The scriptures do say the things are written aforetime are written for our learning. Right? So if we're dwelling on the past in righteousness, then it's like, yeah, let's do that all day. We're going to dwell in that. We're going to live in the past to get better for the future. But if you're living in the past in negative, like, oh yeah, you left me. Now I can't mess with you when you get back. Now I gotta tiptoe around you, or I gotta treat you a certain way because now I'm worried about you leaving or betraying me. You're not forgetting the things that happened in the past. We're not saying be naive, but what we're saying is don't dwell on that negative. Don't let that negative stop that forward progression. He's gonna tell you. Read on.
Forgetting those things which are behind.
Go ahead.
And reaching forth unto those things which are before.
Right, because how can I reach for something that's before me if I'm looking behind me? If I'm looking behind, I'm reaching blind, right? Yeah. You can't run forward looking back. You can't run forward looking backwards. You can't move forward and know where you're going if you're looking backwards. So this is something very important when it comes to the betrayal and being betrayed and all of a sudden, you know, I had 50 brothers under me and then they all left. Now they're all wicked. I can't do the work. Nah, you gotta look forward and say, you know what? Okay, I had the 50 brothers or 10 brothers. They didn't understand at the moment. They didn't get it. Now the Most High is gonna work with them. I'm gonna continue to abide in my labor, like we said earlier, right? I'm gonna abide in my labor in hopes of what? In hopes of the next group of brothers that come along. What's that?
I was going to say, or those brothers that left, return.
Return. So what am I doing? I'm sharpening and honing my skills, my teaching skills, so that what happens? The next time brothers come back, now when I dialogue with them, when I talk with them, when I drop it, it's more sharper, it's more clean, it's more precise. Now I'm able to get them to understand in more different ways. See, a lot of us, man, as teachers, we always think it's the student's fault because they don't get it. Nah, bro. It ain't the student's fault. The teacher is supposed to find a way to get it to the student. You got to change your approach. That's why the scriptures say wisdom is manifold. Because there's different ways. You got to find a different way to approach an individual so they can get it. It's like, and not to point you out, but there was the whole the Immaculate Conception, right? And you had a thing with that where you're like, well, this is how I'm seeing it. This is how I'm seeing it. And then it was like one or two scriptures where it was like, well, look at it like this, and you're like, oh damn, I see it now. You know, but some people would take the time to go there to those scriptures. Some people wouldn't. But a teacher, someone that's like the scriptures say, we're trying to win souls, we're trying to gain souls. You're going to find every different way to reach a person for a few reasons. The scriptures say we got to be found blameless. Now they can't sit back and say, well, your teaching was off, you weren't balanced, you didn't go here, you didn't do this. No, I went there, I went here, I came hard, I came soft, right? I came condescending, I came prideful, I came in all these different ways to this man. How come you didn't get it? Well, now let's reevaluate. And I'm not saying you, Jeremiah, I'm just saying in general now. How come he didn't get it? Well, what's his pride about? Where's his pride? Where's his level of understanding? Where's his mind at? Why he's not getting it? If I came in all these different ways, how come he's not getting it? Okay, now we got to say it's the student because he's not allowing himself to get it. Wisdom will not enter into malicious spirit if he's being that. You understand?
Yeah.
So, you know, as teachers, it's always easy for us to say, well, yeah, they left because they was wicked. And then we feel all hurt inside, like these niggas is off. It wasn't that they were off, they just didn't understand. And our job is to make it understandable. Our job, when you break it down, you're supposed to break it down and understand how much does it need to be broken down to this individual for him to be able to digest, swallow, chew, digest. Right? Chew, swallow, digest. If you swallow and chew, then you got a problem. What's up, Mario?
And then at the same time, even though you're the teacher and you're breaking it down to the smallest common denominator, it's teaching you at the same time as the teacher to be more humble. Or a different avenue of humility. It's exercising you as the same time you're exercising that person.
Yeah, it's exercising that teacher's patience, his humility, his long suffering, his willingness to listen. Right? But again, a lot of men feel betrayed because everybody left them, but it was like, why did they leave you? Were you unbalanced? Were you just yelling and barking and screaming? Yelling scriptures? Do this, do that. I got ranked, now I just could master over you. You know, where was your balance at? Where was your love? Where was your communication? Did you just have the Bible and no scriptures, or were you able to bring understanding? You see, it's all these different things that we have to look at on, and I'm trying to show you the different levels where you got the man that's teaching, or a teacher, or a husband, right? That's teaching is supposed to be the one that's bringing forth the wisdom, and then you know he's wondering why is everybody abandoning me thus far? Why am I being abandoned? Well, what's your level of communication and bringing forth the wisdom? It's not always the person under you's fault. You see that? You got something?
No.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, basically hit that. You know, don't take it personal if you follow the examples. And we hit a few scriptures there, right? And then another point was, and this is where we kind of stopped, but I'm going to continue here, showing what are we supposed to be using the betrayal for? What are we supposed to be doing with betrayal? Who knows? If y'all remember, and we'll pick it up from here. When one feels betrayed, are you supposed to now wallow in your sorrow? Everybody left me. Oh my gosh. What are we supposed to do?
Continue in that labor.
You're supposed to abide in that labor. You're supposed to continue. You know, we're supposed to use it and say, damn, I'm literally living the Bible. I'm literally living like Christ. I'm literally walking the walk. But it's easy to just toss scriptures out. But now when it's time to walk it, it's like, damn, I don't want to do that. So now you gotta reevaluate, come back and say, wow, I'm living this now. Now I'm living this. Cold? It's blowing cold air?
Yeah, it's 69 degrees.
Yeah, you gotta put it on heat. Hit the temperature up and hit run. And it'll get the temperature feeling real crispy. But we're supposed to use the sufferings for ourselves for an example for others. That, listen, just because everybody peeled off or you might feel like you've been betrayed here or there, it don't stop. It shouldn't stop your momentum. It doesn't change your job. That's just, think about it. What was Christ's last hurdle?
The cross.
It was the cross. cross. We said that before. But before he got to the cross, he had to be betrayed and not take it personal. He had to be betrayed and still sit back and not use that as an excuse. It would have been easy for Christ to be like, man, this nigga Judas gave me up. Guess what? I don't got to go on the cross now. Think about it. Would it have been easy for him to be like, man, why you give me up? I ain't healing his hand. We about to go to war. Right? It would have been easy for him to use that as an excuse. But he had to come back and say, nah, wait a minute. For the scripture to be fulfilled, for what's written to be done, for me to live this, for me to be that Christ, I got to go through it. I got to walk it. Right? I can't sit here and be checking Judas the whole time, checking Peter the whole time, and then when they do what I said they're going to do, get mad and renege and act like, oh, because they did what they did, now I can't do what I'm supposed to do. Y'all understand that? Go to 2 Timothy 2:10. Did you finish that Philippians? You finished all of it?
Verse 13.
Read it one more time, and then we're going to jump to 2 Timothy 2:10.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 13.
Go ahead.
Brethren, I count myself not to have apprehended.
Go ahead.
But this one thing I do.
Read.
Forgetting those things which are behind.
Same thing Christ did. He forgot those things that were behind. He forgot about all the times Judas done stole. Right? He forgot about all the times that he was betrayed by the other apostles when he cut them and they all left. He wasn't tripping on that. Because this is what he was at. Go ahead.
And reaching forth unto those things which are before.
Christ was like, well, you got to keep moving forward. This is why. Read on.
I press toward the mark.
See, Christ was pressing towards the mark. Like the scriptures say, he endured the shame, right?
Go ahead.
Going towards the cross. Go ahead.
For the prize of the high calling of the Most High in Yahushua HaMashiach.
You see that? And this is where our mind should be, is that, damn, if I'm being betrayed left and right, if Cass is trying to hang me, right, in the name of Christ, not because I'm off wicked doing foul things to people, but if I'm being betrayed because I'm bringing out this word, if my family members are peeling off because I'm bringing out this word, then now I got to sit back and say, damn, that's a rewardable thing. That's a commendable thing. I got to keep pushing forward towards the mark. What were you going to say, Jeremiah?
Yeah, that's like suffering for righteousness.
The scriptures say it. I get that, Ariana. It says suffer for righteousness' sake, right? Suffer for righteousness' sake. You know, there's a lot of scripture, like when Paul was talking about defending the gospel. In Psalms, it said, who's going to stand up for me against the evildoers and the workers of iniquity? Right? Think about it. If you're doing that and everybody else is wicked as hell, of course they're going to want to betray you. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear this good word come out. Because it's going to be cutting and slicing them. So they'll be quick to give you up. So they don't have to. So now they don't have to live by it. That was another problem with Judas. He didn't want to have to continue to live by what was being said. He didn't want to continue to have to live by the example. You got to look at that also. We talked about a person's battle. What battle are they going through? Where they're ready to just give up and betray and be a traitor. Oh, well, you know what it is? They don't want to have to walk the walk. They're tired of the everyday get up, class in the morning, mall, class at evening, drilling on Tuesdays and Thursdays, workout, flyers. They're tired of that. Counsel. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to find a way out. Read on. Did you find that? Read on. Finish that 14. Oh, that's it, right?
Gun.
Yeah, so it's about pressing towards the mark. Read that, Ariana. Where you at?
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
But, and if ye suffer for righteousness.
And you're supposed to do what?
Suffer for righteousness'
Wait,
sake.
suffer with the world.
For righteousness' sake.
Go ahead.
Happy are ye.
What?
Happy are ye.
Rhetorical question. How come a lot of us in here ain't happy? How come you're not happy to suffer for righteousness' sake? Why is it so easy for us to suffer in this damn world?
Right.
I was about to cuss. I was about to cuss. I was about to. But why is it so easy for us to suffer out there in the world? In the weak and beggarly elements? Why is that so easy for us to be happy in? Why is it so easy to be happy wallowing in the mud in the low estate? But as soon as you get the wisdom, it's like, damn, bro. The scriptures do say oppression maketh the wise man mad. Right? But what is he mad about? Is he mad because of the fact that he got the wisdom and he got to actually do something about it? He's mad of his condition. Not the fact that he got to walk the walk. He's mad because of the condition that he's been put in, knowing that he could be doing better. But then a wise man also does what? Uses the wisdom to raise himself out the condition. We ain't supposed to get mad when we get the wisdom, man. We ain't supposed to be unhappy. Read that one more time.
God, 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 14. But, and if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye.
Read.
And be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled.
Right. You said if you're doing things for righteousness' sake, there's no need to be terrored. No, nobody can do nothing to you, man. You know, I love the one scripture. What is it in Isaiah? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Yeah, that only happens when you. Yeah, but that only happens. That only happens when you're suffering for righteousness' sake.
Right.
Because if you're not, every weapon formed against you will prosper. Your ass will die of microorganisms like AIDS and things like that. You die of things you can't even see. You gotta think about it. No weapon formed against me shall prosper if I'm suffering for righteousness' sake. Was that it on that?
John.
Go ahead, Jeremiah. So we're going to go to 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 10.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
Therefore I endure all things.
We do what?
Endure all things.
Yeah, see, the betrayal happens, the traitor, brother's not around, sister's not around, whether it be 1 or 20. Paul said what?
Endure all things.
Go ahead.
For the elect's sake.
Right. You're doing it for the elect's sake. You're doing it for the ones that are around. You're the example for the ones that are around to keep fighting, keep moving forward, push forward towards the mark. Read.
That they may also obtain a salvation, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right, because no matter what, we all need examples to follow. We all need examples to know whether what we're doing is right or wrong. Right? So he said it, that they may also obtain salvation. We're the example. We're the ones that are like, you know what? Brothers and sisters ain't around. You know what? My rib left. My kids hate me now that they're old enough and they don't want to deal with the truth. Think about this. Think about raising a child from his birth in the truth. I look at my son. He's 4. Right? 4, you can basically say he's raised in the truth. What happens when he hits 18 and he's like, nigga, I ain't dealing with no Bible? How's that supposed to make me feel? It hurts. It's going to hurt. It's my daughters. Well, they're like, yeah, I want to go out there and get whatever raggedy ass dude and live like the world. That's a form of betrayal. But am I supposed to say, well, damn, the Bible don't work because my kids didn't want to follow. Let me stop doing what I got to do? Nah. I got to do what I need to do even more. Pray harder, fast more, put in more work, and in hopes that the Most High shows them the right way before they get destroyed. You see that? I got to continue to be the example so that they may obtain salvation. Not peel off, not wither away, not act like the truth is contingent on them being around.
And you know what? A lot of us forget that a lot of times when that's happening, the scriptures say we blessed for that. In Luke 6 and 22.
Is that blessed for your eyes for they see?
Something like say, blessed are ye.
Yeah.
When men shall hate you.
Right, read on.
And when they shall separate from you. When they shall, blessed are ye.
Tell them where you at again.
Luke chapter 6 and verse 22.
Right.
Blessed
get the last scripture you were at.
John.
Yeah, get the last scripture you were at. Read again. 1 Peter's. Go ahead. No, read.
Blessed are ye.
Uh-huh.
When men shall hate you.
Read.
And when they shall separate you from their company. And shall reproach you.
Uh-huh.
And cast you out. Your name as evil.
Read.
For the Son of Man's sake.
Read. Where you at?
John, 1 Peter 2 and 14.
Uh-huh.
3 and 14. 3 and 14. Yeah, 3 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
But and if ye suffer for righteousness'
right,
sake.
because you're suffering for righteousness' sake. This is where we got to understand is that if I'm suffering for righteousness' sake, it don't matter who the hell's around. It don't matter who was here and who left. It don't matter who's going to come in the door. Either I'm going to still suffer for righteousness' sake or I'm going to be suffering for wicked. Right?
Done.
I'd rather suffer for righteousness and not have nobody around. Right. Or have one or two brothers around. You know why? Because at least I know that the ones that are around are sincere. The ones that are around, they're also down to suffer for righteousness' sake. They're going to be the ones to be there for me when I fall. And vice versa. They're going to check me when I need to be checked the right way. You know, it's all these things that we want, but we look for it in the wrong places. You want love, you want brotherhood, you want sisterhood, but guess what? You look for it in the most non-brotherly person. You look for it in the world. They ain't brotherly out there. They just got things that you got things in common with a person and you think like, oh, they're supposed to be around with you.
Yeah, that brotherly love that people will look for out there. I remember, man, dude, he was like my flesh and blood.
Yeah.
And when I'm out running, gang banging, smoking weed with him,
yeah,
man, we was like
tight.
That
was like two butt cheeks, just inseparable, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And but soon. Yeah.
I wasn't calling you an ass, but you know what I mean.
God. But soon as I, got some scriptures in my head, and I started to change my thinking.
Yeah, he disappeared.
He didn't want to have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It was so bad that he tried to cold cock me for no reason.
Yeah.
And like the spirit just jumped on him. He tried to cold cock me while I'm in the middle talking to another dude, and I dodged it. And I looked at him.
Are you serious?
Son. I looked at him, I was like, what was that? He was like, what you talking about? He acted like he didn't even try to swing on me. And then from that moment, I stopped even trying to be around.
Yeah. But that's why it says you're going to be blessed for that.
Con.
Because now you're getting the understanding of something that he won't get. Or he's not willing to get.
Con.
Happy are ye if you suffer for righteousness' sake. Because what happens is that one fake nigga gets replaced by 5 genuine brothers.
Con.
You see that? That one fake wife gets replaced by having genuine sisters around.
John.
You see that? So that's what we got to look at. Where, what is it that what is it that really betrayed me? What was it? What was it?
It really was nothing.
It was nothing. It was nothing that can't be replaced. That's the thing. A brother leaves, but you got 5 dedicated brothers here. It shows you. Put your effort into them. Communicate with them. Sisters leave. My wife rolls out. Well, we got sisters here that I'm not saying go just take wives, but you got sisters here, right? That replace that. Where if you need something, brother needs a meal cooked, let's get a sister on that. Brother needs his garment made. Things still get done. You see that? So we gotta reevaluate and look at this betrayal and understand that a lot of the times, man, for a lot of men, this is your last step. This is one of the last big things in your growth to show you that what you're doing, for one, is not for nothing, and 2, it doesn't matter who's around, it still has to be done. Imagine if we looked at, think about this. Imagine if we looked at how many people came and went in these doors, this one school, and said, you know what, it ain't worth it. And to shut the doors. But on the back end, we had the whole school in Trinidad. We had the whole school just being built off of what we're doing through faith, through patience, through long suffering. But what if we were looking at the things right in front of us like, yeah, it's not worth it no more to keep teaching. Because everybody keeps leaving. Brothers leave, sisters leave. What if we looked at it in numbers? We would miss the blessing that the Most High gave us in Trinidad. We would miss all the people online that tune in and watch. We would miss out on all that. Y'all get that? Abadiah. There you get. Oh, yeah. Did you finish? Oh, we're gonna read down. Jeremiah. Abadiah, you had a question?
I was just gonna ask the scripture in 1 John chapter 2:19. Would that also be
1 John 2:19. Let me go there.
Could this also be a reason that individuals would be.
1 John 2:19.
So we ready?
Wait. Oh yeah, go ahead.
God.
See? It's perfect.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 19.
Uh-huh.
They went out from us.
They did what?
They went out from us.
Go ahead.
But they were not of us.
Read.
For if they had been of us,
Uh-huh.
they would not doubt.
They would no doubt.
They would slide. They would no doubt have continued with us.
They would have did what?
Continued with us.
Go ahead.
But they went out.
Read.
That they might be made manifest, that they were not all of us.
Right. Because that has to happen too. It has to happen. It has to happen that people come and leave to show, damn, they wasn't really down. They weren't really here with us. That way we're not deceived in thinking that every single person that comes in here automatically is just locked in. Automatically is just going to dedicate and give themselves. The scripture said it. It had to happen. That they might not, it says, but they went out that they might be made manifest. That they were not all of us. Because not all Israel is of Israel. You had your hand up.
An example of another betrayal like that was like when we came out of the land of Egypt.
Right.
And then remember we had the mixed multitude with us.
Right.
But then once that law came out,
yeah, they didn't all stick around.
Understand that we gotta do this work.
Right.
And then the mixed multitude like, man, we all let y'all.
Yeah. But even think about it. Even when Christ, and we read it earlier. We read it earlier in the class when it said Christ was teaching the disciples. Right? And it said a bunch of the disciples peeled off and the 12 were left. Think about it. Because it was all rolling, but it's to happen to show you what reason are these people rolling for? What are they here for? Not everybody that's going to come in is coming in to get this word. Right. The scriptures say they come in to spy out our liberty from men who crept in unawares. Right? Yeah.
They view it, but they like it.
Right. They want to see, some people just come in to see, like, man, what the hell these niggas talking about? Oh, this sounds good. Let me, and then, nope, do what flyers? I am street teaching. What the hell? No, I ain't doing that. So yeah, it has to happen. But the problem is, brothers take it personal. Sisters take it personal. Like, damn, this person was here, they were rolling, then they left. Yeah, well, they left because to be made manifest that they weren't of us. Even though they were rolling. So, but what is it supposed to show us?
To endure, how to endure.
It's supposed to show us to endure, but what else? What else about when we look at other people?
I was just going to say that.
My bad, John. I got you. Go ahead.
That our dedication or our desire to do the will of the Most High can't be placated on another person.
That
it has to be.
Cannot be predicated. Yes, it has to be whatsoever you do it wholeheartedly unto the Lord, right? And not unto men. John, what were you gonna say?
Oh, like don't judge before it's time.
Judge nothing before it's time. Judge nothing before it's time. That's what it's supposed to show us, that everyone's gonna have a battle. And everyone has to endure, like the scriptures say, let every man be convinced in his own mind. Right? So we got to look at these things where it's like, well, he wasn't convinced in his mind. She wasn't convinced in her own mind. I'm convinced. I examine myself. But they weren't convinced. So there's no reason to take it personal. They just weren't convinced. You know? You had something? You sure? Read on in Timothy's.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahushua with eternal glory.
Read.
It is a faithful saying. For if we be dead with him.
Right, if you suffer with Christ in death, you be dead with him. Go ahead.
We shall also live with him.
When the time comes, you're going to live with him. You sacrifice your life. You lay down your life for the brethren, for your nation. When it's time to live it up and party in the kingdom, you'll be there. Go ahead.
If we suffer.
If you suffer, go ahead.
We shall also reign with him.
Why? Because Christ suffered. He endured the cross. He suffered in the cross. He suffered the betrayal. Right? On many ends. Go ahead.
If we deny him.
But see, this It's the part where I want to deny the betrayal. I want to deny things from happening. I want to prevent things from happening. I don't want to be around for things to happen. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to judge things early. I'm going to come up with reasons or I'm going to treat men a certain way. I'm not going to let them walk their path. I'm going to call them out. I'm going to check them. I'm going to get them to leave before they leave, before they want to leave, before their path has expired. And what I'm saying is, couldn't Christ have told Judas, man, get the hell up out of here? He didn't have to pick him. He could have been like, nigga, you wicked. I ain't picking you. Peace. But come on. Right. Come on. Let's do it. Let's see if we work on you. Let's see if we can fix you. Right? And even through all the him not coming around, he could have been like, bruh, this is year 1. And you still ain't getting it. Get up out of here.
And like you mentioned on Friday when we were going over this class, this was already in Judas, and Christ knew it.
He knew it.
So, and he still chose him to get cleaned up and to change.
That's why he said, haven't I not chose you 12 and one of you has the devil? He knew it from the jump.
Plenty of opportunity to change.
He had plenty of opportunity. He was giving him plenty of opportunity to change, but he was also letting him walk his path. He wasn't judging him before time, because even Christ knew he wasn't the judge at the time. He couldn't judge him and condemn him. He couldn't. He couldn't condemn Judas. All you can say is, look, all right, bro, this is what we got to do. Let's do it. You ain't going to hinder anything. You're going to just play your part. Where good is, evil is also present. It's all these things where Judas was the balance, right? Christ knew for the scripture to be fulfilled, you got to be here anyway. For me to be called Christ, you got to be here, bro. For us to be called apostles, for us to be called ministers, you got to be betrayed. You got to go through it. Like the scripture says in Corinthians, conforming ourselves as ministers through the betrayals, the atonements, the fastings, right? Through all the imprisonments. We got to go through all these things that a lot of us try to deny. Forgetting that this is how you're known as a minister of the Most High. This is how Christ was known as Christ. By going through all these things. Read on.
Go on. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12, second precept. He also will deny us.
Right. So if we deny him and deny the things that we have to go through and try to dodge the fiery trial that's set before you, kick against the pricks. Guess what Christ is going to do? He's going to be, well, you didn't want to follow the ordinances as they were delivered. You didn't want to strive lawfully for the masteries that were set before you. Obviously, I'm quoting scriptures, right? You didn't want to do these things the way you didn't want to walk the way I walked. So how could you be worthy of anything? Somebody get 2 Corinthians 1 and 5. What's that?
That's an awesome point, like he had just brought out, like, cause like what Howard Shot did, I see now, like when you had was breaking it down, I see myself in it.
Yeah.
Like what he did was, instead of just condemning people off the muscle, people off the muscle, just let them do what they doing, because there's nothing on this earth, not even say himself, gonna stop the will of the Most High. So,
give
like,
me that.
Like how I say about if a man try to think he can save his wife or she thinks she can save her husband,
right?
We don't know. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta let people be who they are. You just keep doing what you was called to do. Right.
No, that's real. That's real. There's a scripture that says you can do nothing. Yeah, get that. There it is, 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. And this is what we have to realize, is that even when Judas was rolling with Christ, Christ knew that ain't nothing that Judas could do to stop what's going to happen. He got to be a part of it in either way, negative or good. But there's nothing that he's going to do to stop the will of the Most High. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. You think some wicked nigga going to stop that? The will of the Most High? Hell nah. You think wicked Judas was going to stop it? It's funny because through his wickedness, he actually propelled it. Think about it. Think about it. What's that telling you? Where good is, evil is also present. You have to have that balance. Abadiah.
I was just also thinking about that, the scripture in Titus that talks about the heretic.
Yeah.
It's Titus 3:10. So that balance is that person that's a heretic too, because right, we have to be able to do the opposite of what that person is doing.
Right. Where it says a man that is a heretic after the first, second, admonition and reject. Yeah, you got to be able to. But why is the heretic there? Because it's showing you things about you. Am I gonna beat this man down because he don't get it? Because I checked him 2-3 times and he didn't get it. Am I gonna sit there, cuss him out? It tells you just reject him. After the first, second admonishing, just reject him. That's why it says in verse 9 when you jump up, it's to avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions. That's our mission. That was Christ. He didn't. You think the whole time he was with Judas, he was just going back and forth, fighting him? Nah, he was looking. Christ was just observing, like, oh yeah, I know what you're doing. I'm gonna let it ride. I'm gonna check you. He checked Judas. He was checking Peter. I'm gonna check you, right? I'm gonna point it out. I'm gonna point out things that y'all are doing. I'm gonna set up instances to see where you at. Yeah. But Christ wasn't going back and forth with. He wasn't going back and forth. He was like, man, I'm not here to argue. We gotta do this work. Read that. 2 Corinthians 13 and 8.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
For we can do nothing against the truth.
And this is what we got to understand, that when a brother or sister leaves as elders, I'm not saying I'm an elder, but a man that's an elder, sister that's an elder, sister. When somebody that's under you leaves, you can't sit back and think that, oh, they're doing something against the truth, because they're not. They're not doing anything against the truth. They're actually doing the truth. And when I say do it, they're bringing out scriptures. They're bringing out instances. They're walking their battle. They're going through their battle. Yeah. They're showing you what, like the scripture we read previously, that if they were of us, they wouldn't have left. So they're bringing out scriptures for you to reference and say, damn, okay, that's book. It's there for you not to be taking it personal. Read on.
But for the truth.
Yeah. All you can do is things for the truth. There's nothing you can do against it. Yeah. The scriptures say the Spirit bloweth where it listed. Like, listen, the word of the Most High don't go out void. It's going to go where it wants to go, when it wants to go, how it wants to go. Right?
God.
So there's nothing that man, woman, child can do when they're by leaving to stop it from happening. That's what we got to understand, is that all we can do is things for the truth. We can't do nothing against it. So if you ain't here, you ain't stopping the, what they say, one monkey don't stop the show. It's real. One clown don't stop the circus. It's real. The circus still, the show must go on.
To show the power of the Most High, and this is something he did from all through scriptures, especially when he was warring with us. Mm-hmm. He was showing us that it's not about the numbers anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
never about that.
You believing in him and what he said he gonna do, and that's it.
It's always about us and our connection with the Most High. That's it. If you're connected to me, guess what? One man will put 10,000 to flight. But if you ain't connected to me, you're going to be running from the little 4'11" female officer. All 10 of y'all niggas on the block. You're going to be running from the 4'11" little police officer that didn't even get out the car yet. All she did was pull up. And y'all running. Because you're not connected to me. You see that? Read where you at, Jeremiah.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
If we believe not.
2 and no, second. Oh no, that's it on that. Get 2 Corinthians 1 and 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 5.
2 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 5.
Hold on. mean, the sister's just putting out different instances of betrayal. Yeah, it's all the same. But the point is, yes, it's all through the scriptures, but it's some form of betrayal. But the point is, and where we're at right now in the class, and for those of you online that are just getting in, we're continuing the class from last week that we haven't put up yet. We're continuing the class, and we're at the point now where we're showing that we're not supposed to take betrayal personally. As one that's a Hebrew Israelite walking in the truth, doing the will of the Most High, we got to look at it and understand it's not personal. When somebody's here fighting with you for 5 years and then they dip off because they're fighting their battle. Or they've been here for 10 years and they all of a sudden feel like Christ ain't black no more. Or they've been here, right, 15 years and all of a sudden they want to go back to church. You don't take that personal. You've been with your wife 15, 20 years and all of a sudden she don't like you no more. Right? You can't take it personal as one that has the wisdom. So that's where we're at in the class. Again, if y'all got questions off the topic, hold those until the end. If you got questions on the topic, obviously we'll take them. Yeah, where you at?
2 Corinthians, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Go ahead.
For as the sufferings of Christ abound in us.
They do what?
Abound in us.
Yeah, see, the sufferings of Christ are going to build up in us. You can't run from it. You can't run. It's building up. It's going to build up in you. Go ahead.
So our consolation also aboundeth by Christ.
So does your consolation. So does your prize. That builds up too. The more sufferings you go through, the better you handle it. Right? The more people come and betray you and leave. And there was, what's the word? When you're in one country and then you betray your country.
Treason.
Yeah, the more people that commit treason and want to go back to the world, the bigger your prize. Right? The more you're offended, but you stick through it and keep fighting, guess what? The bigger your consolation. When something abounds, it grows. It gets bigger and bigger.
God.
You see that? So the more you go through it, the bigger the prize. But if you don't want to go through it, guess what?
Your prize ain't going to be that big.
You're going to get the Cracker Jack prize. You're going to get the glue, the lick-on tattoo. Right? You ain't going to get the crown. You're going to get the little Cracker Jack toy. They don't even give metal toys no more. What do they give in the Cracker Jack box?
Sticker.
They give a sticker. Back in the day, you used to get fun toys. Now you just get a, huh? You said that sticker go hard?
No,
oh.
I'm like, I haven't had it in a while.
Right.
For real?
Yeah, now it's a sticker. It's garbage.
Wow.
Before, you was getting whistles and yo-yos. Those are garbage compared to a crown too, right? And you see my point. Where you getting a scratch and sniff sticker. That's it. Because you didn't want the sufferings to abound and go through it. You didn't want to deal with it. So how could you be awarded anything? How do you even think yourself is worthy to get the kingdom? Right? Read on.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And wherefore we be afflicted.
And whether we be afflicted.
Oh, it's a lot. And whether we be afflicted.
Yeah, because our afflictions, the things that we go through, go ahead.
It is for your consolation.
What does he mean by that? What does he mean by the things, like, if I'm suffering and going through affliction, how is that Jeremiah's consolation? What do y'all think? Anybody?
Just like in the world, like when you're going through something, well, you can learn from something without going through it by watching it.
Thank you. Thank you. You learn by example. That was perfect. You learn by example. But what's the example? The example is that the affliction ain't gonna kill you. The betrayal it shouldn't take you out. Keep moving forward. Read on.
And salvation.
Is for what?
And salvation.
For your consolation and for your salvation. Go ahead.
Which is effectual in the ending of the same suffering.
Read it again.
Which is
effectual
in the same enduring.
In the enduring.
It's a lot. In the enduring.
Right. in the, oh, let me just stop because he's catching hell. I don't want to deal with that. I can't. No. Too many people peeling off. Too many people betraying. Too many traitors. I can't deal with that. So guess what? I'm not going to endure. Read it again.
Which is effectual in the enduring of the same suffering, which we also suffer.
Right. See, Paul is basically saying that it all goes hand in hand. Yeah. My suffering is for you, but it's also for me.
Right.
It's to show endurance. It's to push you towards the end. My suffering is an example for you to see that, oh, I can move through this. And my own suffering is for me to see like, damn, it ain't that bad. I can still keep moving forward.
Done.
I press forward towards the mark.
Done.
But see, we mess up where we look at what's around us and who's around us and say, damn, I just can't live no more. You get into that R&B song, I can't live, I can't eat, I can't sleep. Now I can't work. I can't what? You can't work, read, right?
And see, that's why Satan gets so many of our people. Because once he get their mind, like, people, they always looking at the circumstances around them instead of knowing that through that, the Most High got you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They want that instant gratification. They don't know how to wait or be patient with nothing. So when the trouble comes, then they just be feet back to what they know.
Where is that? Yeah, get that from me. I'm going to show y'all something. Because this is where we have things messed up. We have a lot of things messed up where, you know what we want? We want, like I said it earlier, everybody wants that brother that's there with them gung-ho, that wife that's there with them gung-ho. If you're a teacher, those students that are there with you gung-ho. We all want that, right? But we forget that, this is what we forget.
Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17.
Proverbs 17 and 17. We forget this. And when it happens, we're like, read that. Proverbs 17 and verse 17. Anybody?
Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 17.
Go ahead.
A friend loveth at all times.
Go ahead.
And a brother is born for adversity.
And this is the point. A brother is born for adversity. We forget that, or we look at things like this. The hard times pop up, the person and people leave, right? The real brother is going to do what? He's going to stay with you. So when the person that goes to when the adversity pops up and they leave, how could you be mad at that? You got to look and say, damn, you wasn't real. You wasn't real in the first place. That's how I would look at it. Like, okay, well, it says a brother is born for adversity. So you were put here to show that you weren't of us, but you were put here to show that you were a brother. You were born for the adverse times. You were born to help me get through it. And for me, and you were born for that example of how to do it. You were born and put here for me to see, like, damn, that's how you lose a rib and keep moving forward? Oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. You take counsel, you talk, you communicate, right? You still keep your belief. But see, we look at the ones like that leave when the adversity hits, like, oh, I miss them. Oh man, like that brother, like, God, but when it got hard, it says when the goings get tough, the tough get going. The tough ain't supposed to leave. But it be when the goings get tough, niggas peel off. The weak leave. And that's what is supposed to show you who's what, who's real, who is who and what is what. If it get hard and you dip off, it's like, okay, well, I'm glad you ain't around. You know why? Because it's going to be hard again. So I don't want to have this thought that you're going to be there for me, and then as soon as it gets hard, you ain't. I don't want to have this false hope. I don't want to have this built up in me that, damn, this is a brother. And as soon as it gets hard, you gone? Bro, that can crush a man. But it shouldn't. Now the Most High just moves you out the way to show the real brothers, to show the real sisters, right? That I can rely on and count on. To know, okay, yeah, when it really gets tough, they're going to be there for me. They're going to be my example. And I for them. Go ahead, read on. I'll be all right. You can drop that, Jeremiah. Go ahead, read on. Y'all with me so far? Go ahead.
2 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 6, second to last precept. Or whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation.
Paul was showing either way we be afflicted or comforted, this is for you to have an example. Go ahead.
And our hope is for you is.
Read it again.
And our hope for you.
Read it again.
God.
And our
hope
of you.
And our hope of you is steadfast.
Our hope of you is what?
Steadfast.
Wait, it's wavering.
Steadfast.
Wait, I'm going to judge him before time.
Steadfast.
Read on.
Knowing that as you are partakers.
Knowing that if you suffer, read.
Partakers of the suffering. So shall ye be also of the consolation.
Knowing that if you follow the example, if you follow the way things should be, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be right there with me. As I'm going to be right there with Christ. We're going to be all there together. Right? No man left behind. But if you say, you know what? I don't want to be the brother that was born for adversity. It got too hard. Them niggas, they demanded too much. They wanted too much of my time. Right? They wanted too much of me. If you like that, then you're not going to get the consolation. 2 Corinthians 4 and 17.
2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 17.
Wait for him to get it. You got something? Go ahead.
Can I get this first action? Can I get Romans chapter 5 and verse 3?
Romans 5 and 3?
Romans chapter 5 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
God. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation also.
Yeah, we're supposed to glory in our tribulations. It's like what we were reading, right? We know that when we're actually suffering, when we're actually going through it, we know that we're actually doing something. We're actually doing something for the truth. We're helping pushing the train forward. We're walking in Christ's paths. We're partaking in Christ's sufferings. So we know that we're going through some tribulations. We're supposed to glory. Read.
Knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
So tribulation is going to work your patience, right?
God.
And this is where our problems start. Because the tribulation is going to come. But do you have the patience to go through the tribulation? Read.
God. Verse 4. And patience, experience.
Because think about it. If you never go through the tribulation, if you don't have the patience to go through the tribulation, then how are you going to get the experience?
You won't.
You won't. You'll just leave off from it.
Right. And how are you going to be a help for the next man? How is my example, how is my suffering is going to be for your consolation? They won't be.
Matter of fact, it's going to be a negative. It's going to be a negative example for the next man.
Right, because that, in essence, you going through the experience is showing being your brother's keeper.
Right.
Because you're keeping your brother from the path of where you failed short at.
Okay. Yeah, it's cold, but that patience, that just hit me today. But the patience, man, a lot of us we don't have the patience to go through something. And that's what, a lot of us have a hiccup on this patience right here. This is what messes us up. It's like a brother will tell you, okay, this is the way, this is how you do it. Because you're going through this tribulation, and the brother or the sister that's been through it is telling you, okay, this is the way. You got to do this. And you might do this for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, but you don't have enough patience to do it completely. So now you leave off, and instead of you doing what they said, which would have gained you the experience, which would have gained you the knowledge, which would have helped you finish it, you leave off from it because you lack the patience. So because you lack the patience, you pretty much lost. You pretty much failed the test. But as long as we have patience, as long as we resist the devil is going to flee.
God.
But if we have the patience, then yeah, the patience is going to do what? It says it worked.
And patience, experience.
Yeah, patience is going to work the experience. And after you work the experience, it's like you're going up a hill. You start going up the tribulation, you're going up the hill, but you got to have patience to go up the hill. But then once you go up the hill, now you have the experience, because the patience worked the experience to get to the hill. So now you're at the top of the hill, and you have the experience on how to get to the top of the hill to conquer this battle. So now you can teach it to a brother or a sister, right? And it says experience what?
And experience hope.
And the hope is our salvation. The hope is what we're fighting for. So after we get to it through the patience is the hard part. Because you can walk away from the tribulation, but the patience is the hard part. Once you have the patience, you gain the experience, and the experience gives you the hope. Because now you know you're good. And the hope is the salvation.
Well said. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 17.
2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 17.
Go ahead, Jeremiah.
For our light affliction.
For our what?
Light affliction.
For our what?
Light affliction.
Betrayal is what?
Light affliction.
It's light affliction. Ye have not suffered unto blood, striving against sin. We got to always remember this. Ain't nobody killing you. Ain't nobody killing you when somebody leaves. The brother that leaves, he didn't pull virtue out of you. He didn't take your spirit with him, and vice versa. For your light affliction, read,
which is but for a moment.
It's only gonna be for a moment. Yeah. That's what we gotta realize, man. It's only gonna be for a moment. Go ahead.
Working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
Yeah, see, we don't understand that our light affliction, it works for us. Damn. It abounds in us. This is your reward. Your affliction is your reward. Your affliction is like that coal, right? And the pressure just pressurizes it into a diamond. It's all one and the same. It starts out as this chunk of coal, and through all the pressure, and through all the affliction, and through all the betrayal, and through all the torments, and through all these different things that we hate, all the suffering, right? At the end of it, you got this diamond. And you're like, damn, look what the Most High done did for me. Well, somebody had their hand up. Abadiah.
Wouldn't that also be like, isn't Christ, when Yahushua comes back, he's going to look at, like, he's going to weigh both things. Like, the person that left, and then the person that took it personal when they left, and not exercising these attributes that we're supposed to.
Yeah.
And when we don't, I was thinking of that scripture in Hebrews that talks about being the slothful, slothful person, that it says that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promise. So if we keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, then we're not looked at as that slothful person,
right?
Because we have to endure, we have to exercise and sharpen our senses and all that.
Constantly be, again, I'm gonna say it. The scripture said it. Looking forward, pressing towards the mark, because it's easy for a man to say, "Well, guess what?" It's easy. Let's use a teacher from a teacher's standpoint, a brother teaching the truth, an elder. It's easy for him to say, "Well, these niggas ain't getting it. These brothers ain't getting it. They keep leaving. So now my job as a priest is no longer valid. So guess what I'm gonna do? I ain't gonna be a priest no more." But what are you doing? You're giving yourself license to be slothful, right? You're giving yourself license to be idle. Idle hands worketh wrath. You're not doing your office. So yeah, Christ is gonna come back and say, "Bro, what did you do? Oh, you did it for 4, 5, 6, 10, 30 years, but then you stopped. You still had arms, legs, feet, mouth.
Man, the salt lost its savor.
You lost, yeah, the salt, but it can't. Salt don't lose its savior. That's the point.
Scripture says, "He that endureth to the end."
He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved.
They put a time limit on this stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like that. You put a time limit on you, but it's not that it's just a time limit. Your time limit is contingent on men.
You put a contingency.
Yeah, on men.
Yeah.
My time is contingent on who's around. Nah, bruh. Your time, well, it is. If Christ is here, then come on. But until then, keep moving forward. Read on in Corinthians.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
While we look not at the things which are seen.
We got to really pay attention to this scripture. While we look not at the things which are seen. See, we're not supposed to be looking at what's in front of us. Again, the perfect example I always use is if we looked at Houston only as a school and just said, man, brothers come, brothers go, brothers come, brothers do stay, yes. But more come and go than stay. I'm sure that's like that with every school, right? if we looked at the things that were seen, and we just looked at Houston, read on.
But at the things which are not seen.
But then guess what? In all the works we were doing in Houston, guess what the Most High was doing? He was building a whole school for us, a whole follower of brothers for us in Trinidad. We didn't know that. We didn't know until they started hitting us up like, listen, we need y'all to come out here. We're like, what? What you talking about? They were watching us for a year. We go out there, it's 13 brothers. It's like, where y'all come from? But it came from us looking at the things which are not seen and doing our job. And not looking at like, damn, who's coming, who's going, who's staying. But putting into the ones that are here. And putting the spirit into them. The ones that are online. Making sure that whatever we bring forth is on point as it could be. Through the spirit of love, through the spirit of Christ. And the things that are not seen was a whole school in Trinidad. Right? A whole school of brothers. Read on.
For the things which are seen are temporal.
Right, because the things that we can touch, taste, feel, that's temporary. That's temporary. It ain't going to be around, man. Go ahead.
But the things which are not seen are eternal.
Right, and obviously he was going deeper, talking about the carnal and the spirit. Right? The spirit is eternal. Somebody else get 1 Peter 4:13.
1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
But rejoice.
But what?
But rejoice.
But what?
But rejoice.
Wait. Be sad.
Rejoice.
Man, I don't want to go through this.
Rejoice.
Read on.
Inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's suffering.
This is what we're supposed to be doing with the sufferings. We're supposed to rejoice. I'm living like big bro. We all want to follow our big brother in life, right? But we always chose to follow the wicked nigga. The wicked big brother.
Right.
Now you got a chance to follow the righteous big bro. Now you got a big bro. Follow him. Rejoice. Read.
That when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy.
Right. See, the joy, the glory that's going to be revealed in us is through the present suffering. Y'all get that, right? No chastisement for the present is joyous, but grievous. But what happens through going through it? You said what?
Yielding good fruit.
It yields good fruit, but how? Does it just pop up? You gotta go through it. You gotta wait for that fruit to grow. That's the thing. You gotta wait for that fruit. You gotta prune that tree. You gotta prune that tree for it to bring forth fruit. The fruit that bringeth forth, the tree that bringeth forth fruit is purged. Just like the tree that bringeth forth not fruit. That's what we gotta understand. Even as you grow, Most High is gonna purge you and put you through things you don't want to go through. As you're growing, he's gonna put men in front of you that ain't gonna be around a year later. It was really to test your growth. What level of patience do you have? What level of long suffering? What level of insight are you using to judge who's in front of you? What manner of man? What are you using? Are you going to think it's strange when they're not around? It says think it not strange. Right? You going to take it personal? Or you going to understand that this is the will of the Most High? Many are called, but few are chosen. Go ahead.
Verse 14.
That's it on that. Go to Romans 8 and 17. Romans 8 and verse 17.
Romans chapter 8, verse 17.
Go ahead. Wait for everybody to get it. Let me know when y'all got it. Read that.
Romans chapter 8, verse 17. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ.
See, if the children, talking about us, are heirs to the throne, right? Heirs to the kingdom of the Most High. We're joint heirs with Christ. We're joined with Christ. Through what? Through what?
Our suffering, our tribulation.
Through our what?
Our suffering, our tribulation.
We're joined to Christ with everything that Christ went through. So Christ got betrayed, your ass gonna get betrayed too. They speak evil of Christ, they're going to speak evil of you too. They ain't going to want to be around you for the word's sake or Christ. They ain't going to be around you. This is how you become the joint heir. I don't understand why like people think it got to be something different. Hell nah. This is how you become a joint heir. You're automatically a joint heir, even if you know it or not. If you're an Israelite, you're a joint heir. So guess what? You're going to go through sufferings out there in the world, but now you're going to suffer for righteousness' sake, hearing the truth, understanding the truth, understanding the will of the Most High. You're a joint heir. This is a co-venture, right? We're both co-founders. We partners in this. Ain't no silent partner. We 50-50 partners. So what you go through, I'm gonna feel it. And what I go through, you gonna feel it. In some way, shape, or form. Ain't no escaping it. Go ahead.
If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together.
Because this is the point. We want to be glorified together. We all want the glory that Christ got. We want to sit on the right hand of the Most High. We want to sit in the kingdom. But how? You think Christ got that because he was like, yeah, I ain't gonna, this nigga Judas, he betrayed me, so guess what? Guess what, Father? I don't have to do your will no more. Because this wicked man, he was like, if it still be thy will, let it be done. If it be thy will, let this cup pass from me. It wasn't. And guess what? He died on that cross. You had your hand up.
Yes, sir. The thing I do, it's related to the thing.
Yeah.
What I do too, like, when I be going through something, whether I be wrong or whether I be right, at the end of the day, I just look at the situation like, okay, he already said we was going to be hated for his name's sake,
right,
and stuff was going to happen. I was like, if I just think about all the stuff that all the prophets went through and how I went through, I'm like, that ain't nothing. What I'm going through right now ain't nothing. So I just chuck it up and just keep pushing.
And it says it, for your light affliction that endureth for a moment. Think about it. It said the Son of Man had no place to rest his head. Who in here ain't got no bed? Come on. You see my point? The Son of Man, it says the foxes have holes and the birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to rest his head. Think about that. But everybody here got a bed. Right? You got prophets being stoned, sawed in half, hung, this, that, chased around town. Ain't nobody in here getting chased. Again, and I said it last class, we can go set up shop right in that corner. As long as we got a permit to yell and scream as loud as we want, we good. ain't no cop rolling up like, put your Bible away or I'll shoot. Right. Hell nah.
And even if we didn't, they tell us to pack up.
Yeah, pack up and go. Ain't no nations rolling up like, get off my corner or I'll kill you. Right. Ain't nobody telling you if you don't keep the law, you're gonna die. Like, guess what? If you better go home and eat pork today, or I'm gonna sacrifice your family. That ain't happening. That's not happening at all.
No, we got gas issues. Like, I ain't got no gas money.
Yeah, I ain't got no gas money.
I ain't got no.
But I'm on a quarter tank. Come on, man. You know, I ain't got no food, but you got lentils and things. Our whole issues is different. We think that we're suffering, but that's why Paul had to come back and check us again. Your light affliction. It's light. But guess why it's light? Because you have brothers there that have been through it. You have brothers there that's been the example, sisters that's been the example to show you, this ain't nothing. If I can do it, so can you. If I can walk on water, so can you, Peter. Come on, Peter. Right? If I can make it on lentil stew, so can you. Right? If I can eat veggies for weeks, so can you. Come on. What's up?
John the Baptist, John the Immerser, he lived off of honey, wild honey and
locusts. Yeah. But so can you. So can you.
Really? No.
Hell yeah.
Come
on. Jeremiah.
And like one more thing we forget about, when Yahweh was telling one of his disciples that believed, because he told him that he was under the tree, he was like, greater things than this will ye do. So
right.
He
was
telling us like, the power I'm finna give you.
Right.
You're gonna be able to do greater stuff than this. And our people be scared to exercise that power because they worried about what other people gonna think, instead of just doing the will of the Most High and don't worry about everything good.
Because they're faithless. Our people are faithless when it comes to doing things greater and outside the box than just rolling the blunt and hitting the 40. we get faithless when it comes to spiritual things. It's easy for us to sit, you don't need no faith to sit there and watch ESPN and take the weed and shake it, seeds out, and cut the Philly, put it in there, roll it. It don't take faith for that. And hit it and know that you're going to get high as hell. But it takes faith when it's like, I got to build the man next to me. And if the man next to me ain't there, I still got to do my job. We don't want to do that. You had your hand up.
I was going to say, because based off of what Jeremiah was saying, that goes perfect with the next verse of what Laka Robin pulled out in Romans. Because after you work the patience, and that works experience, and then the experience, the hope, which is the salvation, right?
Right.
That salvation, once you get that life-saving, changing event, right, it's not going to make you ashamed.
Right.
Once you have that ability to do what needs to get done, and the Most High He's blessing you through it, you're not ashamed to do anything.
Right, because you see that through having patience and faith and going through the tribulation, it worked.
Exactly. So,
it worked. You're like, damn, that worked.
So now you're not taking that as a bad. You're not taking that as a.
There's no negative connotation on it.
Exactly. So you'll proudly become a fool for Christ's sake. You'll proudly become a spectacle in the sight of the world for the Most High sake.
Why? Because you see that it works. You see that going through it is what. There's nothing better. And when you go through it, you'll see that. Yeah, it didn't take nothing from me. It didn't it didn't take my spirit. It didn't kill me. It actually added to me. It made me a better man. Where you at?
Verse 18.
Jump to 1 Peter 5 and 10.
1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
But the Most High of all grace, who has called us into his eternal glory by Yahushua.
Right. How do we get called into the eternal glory by Christ? He suffered for our sins. It's the only reason why we got called into any damn thing. Because Christ suffered for us. Go ahead.
After that ye have suffered a little while.
Now you need to suffer a little while. Right? You need to suffer. So it's two things. We're called into the grace by two ways. We have to go through our suffering, but Christ suffered for us. So it's like basically, listen, man, Christ did this thing for you, but you still have something that you have to do for yourself and for your brothers. You got to be their walking example. You got that, I'm gonna die for the truth. Nah, you ain't gotta die for the truth. Live for the truth. Live for the man next to you.
Right.
Be there for him. Don't just dip out when it gets hard. Be there for him. Like Paul said, I want to be. It's better for me. He said, I want to be with Christ, but it's better for me to be here with you. To be your example. You think Paul didn't want to go be with Christ? Go be with the Most High? Hell yeah. Like all the prophets and all the apostles. But guess what? They're like, I gotta be here with you, man. I gotta be your example of how to get through the things that's gonna befall you. But see, the betrayal comes to it, you ain't around. You dip, you leave. Now you're no longer that example to be looked forward to be looked towards. So the man that's being betrayed shouldn't be mad about that and take it personal. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm glad you're gone. Now I ain't got no weakness to look to.
What better way to know? Like it brings back that scripture that it says that that offenses must come, right?
Right.
So how better yet to gauge what you're doing, except that happened to show that that's what you're on the right path.
Well, but now it's about how do I deal with the offense,
right?
And how do I deal with the offenses and the offender? Because the scriptures say if your brother offends you, how many times do you forgive him? 70 times 70 times 7. Right?
Done.
So it all goes hand in hand. Now the Most High is working spiritually to see where you at, where are they at. How have you grown? What manner of man are you? Are you quick to condemn? Right? Are you quick to forgive? Did you prove a friend? It's all these things that work in these instances that, and they're basic things that if you put them all together, you be like, okay, yeah, I see that. Oh, yeah, Oh, they're only around for this reason. Oh, she only came back because of this. Oh, they're only here for this. There's nothing wrong with saying, oh, this person only came back for this reason. But are you supposed to now shut them down? No, you're supposed to say, yeah, you came back. You only in here because you want something to eat. Okay, Con. Look, give them something to eat. If they come, we're going to throw a good word out there. If they come back, they come back. If not, we know what they came for. Right. We know. So that way we're not like expecting you to come back a week later, the week after, the week after. We knew what you came for. Christ knew what Judas was around for. So he didn't expect too much out of him. So when he did betray him, he checked. He said, damn, you gonna betray me with a kiss? Like, damn, bro. You could have did something else.
Right.
He said, betray us now the Son of Man with a kiss?
Right.
Like, damn, bro, you could have at least just like had him just run up on me.
Right, son.
Blindside me or something. You gonna kiss me, get close, get intimate, get up on her, you gonna hug me?
Yeah, that's deep.
And like, damn, huh?
That's that fame love.
Yeah, that's that. Like, you cold-blooded.
Yeah.
You cold, son.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah, you cold like Rick J. Cold-blooded. Right? He like, damn, betray us down the Son of Man with a kiss. Like, because the way I read that, I'm like, damn.
Right.
Couldn't have did something. Like, you couldn't have just been like, yo, he over there. You couldn't just pointed me out. You had to get close to me and let me know. Like, damn. It's wild, though. Read on.
Make you perfect, established, strengthening, settle you.
Read it from the top.
But the glory of God.
Read it again.
But the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus. After that ye have suffered.
See, after you have suffered, after you had some patience, we read it in Romans, right? Read.
Suffered a while. Make you perfect.
Do what?
Make you perfect.
See, your sufferings are supposed to make you perfect. Right? Read. I'm going to get to you, Sister Mary. Read.
Established.
It's supposed to do what?
Established.
It's supposed to establish your faith. Right? Because what we read in Romans, it said, what do we read in Romans? Go back to it real quick. It says, yeah, we just read it. It goes hand in hand, though. No, not that. In Romans that he pulled.
Romans chapter 5 and verse 3.
Read.
I'm going to start at verse 3. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation also.
Go ahead.
Knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
See, the tribulation works your patience. Go ahead.
And patience, experience.
And patience works experience. If you have suffered a little while, it makes you perfect. Established. Read on.
And experience hope.
We are. Read on. You can drop that, Aria.
After ye have suffered a little while. Make you perfect.
Yeah, it's supposed to build the perfection in you. It's supposed to melt off all the impurities.
Let patience have its perfect work.
Patience have its perfect work.
Entire, wanting nothing.
That you be entire, wanting nothing. Why? Because now I'm what? Read it.
Make you perfect.
Because now I'm perfect. Read.
Established.
Now I'm established. Read.
Strengthened.
Now I'm strengthened. Read.
Settle you.
Now I'm settled. Now I'm good.
Yes.
I know where I'm supposed to be. Now I know where I'm supposed to be, Sister Mary. Bring him to church, right?
When you in there applying, now you got this and you're going to touch me.
Yeah. But Sister Mary, you had your hand up. There was something that you wanted to say.
No, but you're saying you don't be disappointed.
You don't. That's the whole point of this. To not be disappointed when someone is there and they leave. Don't be disappointed in yourself or in that person. You got to understand that it's just their battle. What am I going to do to make me better? Right? With whatever capacity I was in with this person. A better brother, a better sister, teacher, husband, wife, child, right? Parent. How am I going to make myself better and not look down on myself? This goes into so many different things where you can get into condemnation. Now I'm condemning myself. Slothfulness. Now I got to do the work because everybody's leaving. I'm not good enough. It goes into so many different things where the Most High is just like, listen, the suffering is supposed to make you perfect, not make you second guess everything. Jeremiah.
Kind of like, you know how when you first came into the truth and you know, when everything started happening to you, it made you strong because you like, for me, it was like, ain't none of this stuff started happening to me until I started serving the Most High.
Right.
So it made me be like, you know what? The Most High gotta be true because if it wasn't, these things wouldn't even be happening to me. Right when they were saying it make you strong. And
Well, and that's the thing, though. These things, when you go through, think about it. Why do we think we go to Ecclesiastes chapter 2 for every brother that comes in? When you come to serve the Most High, prepare your soul for temptation. Why? Because is the temptation meant to drag you right back into the world 2 seconds later? No, it's not in here. Oh, here it is. It's Hebrews 10:32. It's Hebrews 10:30. Right on what he's saying. Right on what I believe this is what I want. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Here it is right here.
Come.
Read Hebrews 10:32. This is right on point with what he's saying.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 32.
Go ahead.
But call to remembrance.
But do what?
Call to remembrance.
Go ahead.
The former days. In which, after ye were illuminated.
Right, so you got the beginning, you got the truth, you were illuminated. Go ahead.
Ye endured a great fight of affliction.
You did what?
Endured a great fight of affliction.
Yeah, you endured your afflictions because now you were illuminated on how to get through the affliction. Now when you first got into the truth and you was there with the brother that came in with you and your homeboy walked through the doors, right? And you start getting the truth, you both get illuminated, but he said, you know what, this ain't for me. Well, you kept coming. And you say, you know what, this is for me. I know where I'm supposed to be at. And you kept fighting. And you kept coming. And you kept seeing brothers come and go, but you kept fighting. And you became that elder. And now you're teaching brothers and sisters. And they kept coming and going, coming and going. You weren't supposed to say, you know what? It ain't worth it no more. I can't put my spirit into brothers and sisters because they don't get it. You're supposed to look on your former days and say, damn, when I was illuminated, I went through all the afflictions. I knew how to deal with all this stuff. I understood why it was necessary. I didn't just give up my fight. I kept fighting for the next man.
That's right.
I kept pushing it forward. But we get to a level, to a point where it's like, it just ain't worth it no more, dog. I don't have to do this no more. Whether it be our own laziness, it be our own misjudgment, it be our own just ill way of looking at things. Jeremiah first, and then I'll be on.
Like when you and Kazak brought out the first night y'all brought this class out, we forget that, you know, when we go out there, like the world is on our shoulders. That we being looked at no matter what.
Yeah.
So it behooves us to keep fighting and keep it doing because we don't know who we are becoming a stumbling block to, and we don't know who we're bringing into the truth. So we want to stay on that path we're supposed to be on.
Right, but that's why Paul said it, and that's why I was bringing this line of scriptures to show that our suffering was for an example. It was always for an example for the next man's salvation. To at least have something to attain to and say, damn, if I'm gonna catch hell like this, at least I know I can make it through it. If everybody going to abandon ship, at least I know I have the tools to not abandon ship. I got tools to row the boat. Right? It ain't just gonna crash because the cat that was steering it jumped off. Nah, I can row the boat also. Because now it gotta be my time. I gotta take the reins and not just give up. Because you want to jump out the boat and drown, I mean, I want to jump out the damn boat and drown. I'm gonna row this mug to an island. Right? I'm gonna do it the right way. I don't want to jump out. There's sharks in the water. Hell no. I want to row, I'm gonna steer the boat. Right? Jump. It's real though. It's real when you look at it. It's like everybody's abandoning the ship, dog. What do I do? You gonna abandon the ship too? Obadiah.
I was just gonna say.
Did you say? Wait, hold on. Did you say what you were gonna say? You got your hand up.
Oh, I was gonna say
him and then Obadiah.
I was gonna say it's like when you're around for a long time and you keep seeing people leave.
Yeah.
Over and over and over, you start thinking you can start getting double-minded and start thinking. Is there something wrong with what I'm doing, or am I a fool for still being here?
Right, but that's the thing. It was meant for that. It was meant for you to sit back and say, "Damn, am I balanced?" If we're dealing with a teacher, am I balanced? Mm-hmm. How is my approach? And do I have balance? Am I too one-sided? Am I too opinionated? Do I not come with enough understanding? It was all these things that we're supposed to think about. You're supposed to actively think about these things and say, how do I become perfect? Not how do I leave with them. The niggas that left, how do I leave with them too? How do I become a betrayed? Listen, you've been betrayed. The whole point is not to become the betrayer. That's not the point. The whole point is not to become what happened to you, to the next man, to Christ. Because if you're a person in leadership and in teaching status, you're not betraying, and you're not betraying nobody but Christ. And even at a lower level, you're not betraying nobody but Christ. You see that? You're betraying Christ.
And then you betray yourself.
And you betray yourself, you betray the truth. You don't hinder the truth, you don't stop it. But that's what we gotta understand. Where we at? Damn, right?
That was 1 Peter 5 and 10. The end of 1 Peter 5 and 10.
Jump to Colossians 2 and 6. Read that 1 Peter 5 and 10. Ariah, get Colossians 2 and 6.
I'll read it. 1 Peter 5 and 10.
Read that one more time. Come on, Ariah.
But the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Yahweh Shai, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect.
Read.
Establish.
Read.
Strengthen.
What?
Strengthen.
Read.
Settle you.
It's supposed to settle you, strengthen you, establish your faith, and make you perfect. Go to Colossians 2 and 6.
Done. You mean, when you got it? Done. Colossians chapter 2 and verse 6. As ye have therefore received Yahweh Shai, the Lord, so walk ye in him. Rooted. And rooted.
Read.
And built.
And what?
And built.
Read.
Up in him.
Read.
And established in the faith.
Read.
As ye have been taught.
Read.
Abounding therein with thanksgiving.
You see that? As you have been what?
Abounding therein with thanksgiving.
No, it says as ye have been taught. How were you taught?
To constantly endure.
You taught to constantly endure by the example that was set before you. If you were paying attention. Through Christ, through the men. See, that's why it be killing me, man, when you got these brothers like, oh, you don't need a camp? You don't need a camp?
Oh, then you don't need the Bible.
Where is your example going to come from when it's time to endure?
It's the whole point of a camp is it's like the Bible.
Yeah. We think the first camp was Christ and the apostles. What do you think Paul was writing to? You think there wasn't going to be some betrayal in that? Of course. Read that one more time. Colossians 2 and 6.
2 and 6. Con. As ye have therefore received Christ Jesus, the Lord, so walk ye in him.
Right.
Rooted and built.
What?
Rooted and built.
Go ahead.
Up in him.
Read.
And established in the faith.
This was all supposed to establish you in the faith. Go ahead.
As ye have been taught.
Read.
Abounding therein with thanksgiving.
Hit this point right here. Y'all understand that, right? So what we're understanding is that, and we're going to jump to the next point, that people have to walk their path. Right? Now that you've used the betrayal, now you got to understand that people have to walk their path. Go to John 13 and 15.
Yeah, somebody get John chapter 13, verse 15.
John chapter 13 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
For I have given you an example, that ye should do as I have done to you.
So Christ left us an example of how we need to handle ourselves when the betrayal does hit. Christ left us the perfect example how to deal with it. Because imagine, we don't know when we finna get betrayed. We might be left with hints and clues, but for the most part, we don't know when that person's finna walk away. We don't know when that person's finna walk away from the relationship, from the friendship, from the thing that you built for years, for months. You know what I mean? We don't know when it's finna happen, but Christ knew. Christ knew when the betrayal was finna happen, but Christ still kept his integrity. He still did the will of the Father. He still showed love. He still showed patience, kindness, meekness. He still was there for the brother. But imagine, can you do that? If you knew somebody was going to betray you, can you still show that love to that person? But that's that example that Christ loved us. That to keep in our mentality that we're always doing it for the Most High. We're not doing it for men. We're not doing it for somebody else. We're doing it for the Most High. Read.
Con, verse 16.
Go ahead.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord.
And are we greater than Christ?
La-ah.
No, we're not. We're not greater than Christ. Read.
Neither he that is greater than he that sent him.
Read again.
Come, verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. Neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him.
And Christ was the one that sent. Christ is not greater than the Most High. So Christ understood that the will is from the Most High. Christ had to do the Most High's will. Christ had to do the will of the Father. So he knew he had to go through it. And we're not greater than Christ. We're the servant. So you have the Most High, Christ, and us. We're the servant. Christ knew he had to do the will of the Father. We want to do the will of the Father, so we have to follow the example. We have to go through the path that Christ set down for us. We're not greater than him, so we can't run from it. But when the betrayal does happen, because it has to happen, offenses has to come, how are we going to handle it? Are we going to handle it the same way that Christ handled it? Or are we going to do it our way? Yeah, verse 7. Oh, not what? Verse 17.
Verse 17. If we know these things.
If ye know these things.
Happy are ye if ye do them.
Why? Because we know we have that consolation. We know why we're doing it. We know why we're going through it. We ain't going through it just for nothing. I mean, who wants to be betrayed? Remember, man, Christ cried the tears of blood. The tears of blood. Imagine, you know, it's funny, like during the class I was actually thinking about it. I was like, damn, what could be worse? What's worse than a betrayal? What's something harder for you to deal with than a betrayal? And the only thing I can think of is like a death of someone that you love. But if you get betrayed, it's like that person now, it's like death. It's like now that person, it's like that person looks at you as you're dead to them.
Yeah. You know what's sad? Some people take death as betrayal. Some people take death as betrayal. Like, yeah, you left me. Nah, Most High had them walk their path. You can't prevent death. But see, but what does it come back to? An outlook. Am I looking at things the right way? Where you at?
God.
Read verse 17 one more thing.
God. Verse 17. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them.
Right. It wasn't just about knowing. Abadiah.
Well, I was just going to say, even with that scripture right there, and I was just thinking too, like Rob, if Yahushai had been offended by the betrayal of Judas, even though he knew he was going to betray him, and decided not to do the will of the Most High, we would be screwed. Yes. But
we'd be up a creek.
We would be, but he took that. He took the betrayal and went a step beyond that.
Right.
To die for us. So that perfection, that like gives me a lot of hope, because I don't even have to do what Yahushai did.
Right.
I just gotta be able to.
You ain't gotta die for nobody. Just live.
Betrayal, right.
Right. But think about, see, we know the scriptures talk about Christ, he did no sin. Right? But think about even in his not doing any sin while he walked this earth. Think about what he was still doing to continue to stay perfect. He was still trying to be perfect. And he still, when you go back to that Timothy's, he said, not that we have apprehended. Christ didn't walk around like he apprehended, like he got something. He was still doing the works to show, like, damn, the servant is no greater than his master. I ain't nobody. I still got to show you guys this example for me and for you. What's that?
Because he said he only does what he see his father doing.
He what?
He does what he see his father doing.
Yeah. He does. Oh, Christ, right?
Come.
Yeah. So, but this is the thing. In verse 17 in John, he said, if you know these things, happy are ye. Christ knew these things. He said, happy are ye if you do them. Christ had to do it. He knew that. He knew he had to do it. Right? Read on. Oh, this is going to go down to verse 30. This is going to go down to verse 30.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
If I speak not of you,
right?
All, I know whom.
See, so we understand this was Christ that was talking, right? He's talking to the apostles. He said, listen, happy are you. He said, if you know these things, happy are you if you do them. He said, I speak not of you all. See, I'm bringing it back now to the story of Judas. Bringing it back to the apostles. Read on. He said, I speak not of you all. Go ahead.
I know whom I have chosen.
I know who I chose. I know I chose you 12. And one of you got to go. One of you is wicked. One of you is going to betray me. Peter, you going to deny me. I know who I chose. Go ahead.
But that the scripture may be fulfilled.
But now, see, this path has to be walked so the Bible can be true. Go ahead.
He that eateth bread with me has lifted up his heel against me.
And we read that up in Psalms, right? Somebody's in there. We read that in Psalms, right? We read that in Psalms 41. Go ahead.
Now I tell you before it come, that when it is come to pass, ye may believe that I am he.
Yeah, he said, now I'm telling you that before it happens. So that when it happens, you know I'm the Christ. You know who I am. For my sake? No, for your sake. For your sake. This is what it was always about, was for the apostles' sake. This is for your sake. And then for the next man's sake. And the next man's sake. It was never about me. It was never about Christ. It was always about the next man.
Can I say one thing too?
Oh, yeah.
That's why we do everything we do. That's why we study. That's why we gave up everything. We gave up everything for the next man's sake. For the love of the brethren, man. No greater love than a man sacrifice his life for his brother. That's why we do everything. That's why we left the jobs, the high-paying jobs, to work EO. That's why we sacrifice our time spent with our kids, time spent with our wives, time spent with everything. Time spent that doing what we would want to do, to now utilize that time for the Most High to build ourselves so we could build the next man. That's why we do it. Everything is done for the next man, for the next woman.
And that's why our example is so important. Because if I have a good example that's going to help save you, I also got an example that can help your ass get not saved. Right? There's an example of sinners. Right? So that's why it's so important for us as we conduct ourselves. We always talk about conduct and the things that we do and who's looking and who's not. Because it works both ways. Y'all understand that? Read on.
Verse 20. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomsoever I send receiveth me.
Right.
And he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me.
Right. So he that receiveth whomsoever I send receiveth me. Right. And he that receiveth me, Christ, receiveth him that sent me, the Most High. No man can come to the Most High but he comes through Christ first. Read on.
When Yahushua had said thus said, he was troubled in spirit.
Read.
And testified. And said, verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me.
But you know what's wild? It says he was still troubled in the spirit. But did he go create a ramp? Did he go let's hang Judas, let's stone him, let's uppercut him, let's fight him? He said he was troubled in the spirit. Not in the. It didn't say he was troubled in the flesh. Like he got all unruly flesh. He started cussing, screaming, "You wicked nigga!" Da 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 da. Said he was troubled in the spirit. He was heavy-hearted. Like, damn, man. After all this time, and you still gonna betray me? Because he knew. You know what he saw, or what he didn't see, was the change in Judas. He didn't see the change that should have took place. It's like you got 12 apostles. They all start out the same. Apprentice, novice level. Everybody else is going up to bishop level, and you got this one dude that's still on novice level. It's like, damn. So when it gets hard, guess what's going to happen? He ain't going to be around. When it gets hard, guess what's going to happen? He's going to betray me. He's going to give me up. And Christ knew these things in the spirit. Go ahead.
Then the disciples looked on one another, doubting of whom he spake.
Like, damn, is it you? Is it you? It ain't me.
Yahushua's bosom, one of his disciples, whom Yahushua loved.
Go ahead.
Simon Peter, therefore, beckoned to him that he should ask of whom it should be of whom he spake.
Right. Peter was like, man, who is it, Christ? I hope it ain't me. I know it ain't this guy. Who is it? But there were, you know, it was showing something about Christ. It was showing something about the apostles, though. The scriptures say, know those that labor amongst you. So Christ saw it, but how come the apostles didn't see it? That Judas was kind of off.
Well, I was going to say because they were busy not looking on the things that he was doing, but what they were supposed to be doing. They were
tending to their jobs.
Yeah, and walking their path.
At the same time, you gotta look at your brothers. Know those that labor amongst you. What's up, Mathaniah?
No, I was listening to you.
Oh, you looked at me like you didn't get it. Yeah, you gotta know those that labor amongst you. You gotta know when a brother's weak. You gotta know when those that are strong bear the infirmities of the weak. How? If I don't know where your weaknesses and strengths lie, how do I know where to bear the infirmity? Do I wait for you to fall all the way? Nah, I'm supposed to be there as a crutch to help. Not to wait for you to fall and then come in. But that's what happens sometimes. A brother falls and you got to scoop him up. Right? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 25. He then, lying on Yahushua's breast, said unto him, Lord, who is it? Yahushua answered, It is.
You gotta really listen to this part because Christ was cold right here. Go ahead.
It is to whom Shalak. He it is to whom I shall give a sop.
Read.
When I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop.
So he dipped the sop. So he said, the person that I give this that I dip and sop with, it's gonna be him. So it said he did what?
And when he had dipped the sop.
So he dipped, right? Go ahead.
He gave it to Judas Iscariot.
And he gave it to Judas, like, it's him. But this is the cold part. Read.
The son of Simon.
Read.
And after this sop, Satan entered into him.
He said after the sop, Satan just overtook Judas. Because why? That Christ checked and convicted his whole spirit. But instead of him saying, damn, let me figure out how to not betray you, he let Satan just overcome him. Like, well, I guess if I'm wicked, I'm just wicked. Sisters do that. If I'm wicked, I'm just wicked. Like, no, let's not be wicked. We pointed out your imperfection. Let's change it. Let's fix it. We didn't point it out for you to just wallow in your sorrow. If I'm wicked, I'll just be wicked. Brothers do that too. I was just wicked. I'm just wicked. I can't be around because I'm just wicked, brother. That's the Judas thing. I'm wicked, so guess what? I can't be around. Because my wickedness is going to leak off from me and leak on to the next brothers. It won't if you realize that, damn, this is where I'm off at. How do I fix it? And don't let that weak mind, don't let Satan isolate you. Satan loves to isolate. That's what he did with you. He just isolated him. Oh, damn. He gave me the sob. Oh, damn. How would you have felt if that was you? You'd have been like, what?
Like, come on, bro. Nah.
Like, really? Like, damn, okay, how does this not happen? Who are you going to say?
You think Judas heard?
Huh?
Like, did everyone hear at the table, or was he just kind of...
Oh, watch. Read on. He asked everybody here.
Can I say?
We're in John 13.
Verse 27.
Verse 27. What were you going to say?
And I say also, remember when he was speaking to Peter, and he told Peter, you're going to deny me thrice.
And Peter was like,
nah, I'm not. You don't see that from Judas.
Yeah. Judas was like, okay, Satan, come get me.
Yeah, it was like no fight.
Yeah, it was no fight. It was like, I am? Okay, come. Moving on. Like, yeah, I'm just wicked. Like, damn, Mark, you got spirits on you. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to just keep having spirits on me. But you got to read it. Read it. It says, read verse 27.
Verse 27.
Read, Read verse 27. Watch.
And after the sop, Satan entered into him.
Read.
Then said Yahushua unto him,
Read.
That thou doest, do quickly.
He was telling Judas, that thou doest, do it quickly. Did the apostles hear it? Read.
Now no man at the table knew for what intent he spake unto him.
See, they understood, they heard what he said, but they didn't understand what he was saying. What Christ was saying was, man, just get it over with, Judas. You gonna betray me? Let's just do it. What thou doest, do it quickly. Get it over with. Don't drag it out. What were we gonna say?
Like I was talking about, like, you know, when he said the one I give the sop to.
Yeah.
Like everyone heard that.
They were all there at the table. Peter was in his bosom. Watch. He said, think about it. They were all there because when you read verse 24, Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. He then, lying on Jesus' breast, saith unto him, Lord, who is it? He asked him a question. Yahushua answered, It is to whom I shall give sop. So they were all at the table. You gotta remember, this is the Passover.
You know, but I was thinking, like, because he's on his bosom, and he's just like, yeah, that's the one I'm gonna give the sop to. And
they all heard.
And so like, yeah, this is the one I'm gonna give sop to.
He did
I
not
thought he was just like, they were close.
Nah, they all heard it. Because watch, when you jump down, it says, now no man at the table knew for what intent he spake this unto him. They didn't understand what Christ was saying when he says, that thou doest, do quickly. It's going to say why. Read on. Verse 29.
Verse 29.
Right?
For some of them thought,
right,
because Judas had the bag, that Yahushua had said unto him, buy those things that we have need of against the feast.
Right?
Or that he should give something to the poor.
You see that? So they thought that Christ was saying, like, man, whatever, when you got to go do something, go do it quickly. Like, go get what we need. Hell nah. He was like, bruh, hurry up with your damn betrayal. Hurry the hell up.
So this goes back to your point where you were saying know those that you labor with, because had they known Judas's past and what he was doing,
and if they would have paid attention the whole time,
that he was walking with them, they would have known.
They would have been like, damn, bruh.
Yahushua was talking about.
Yeah. You see that? So they knew. They just didn't understand what Christ was saying at the time. What thou doest, do it quickly. No man. That's why it says, for some of them thought. How you going to think something if you didn't hear it?
So do you think they could have been instrumental in, the apostles could have been instrumental had they known more about Judas and helping him, because I know he had a path.
Right.
I know Yahushua had to be betrayed.
Right.
There was something had to happen. But, could knowing who they labored with and knowing what his issue was, could they have done more?
They could have been. Well, we got to understand that the scriptures don't really go into like so much of their relationship and how if they checked one another, and it don't go deep in. We know they were always together, right?
Right.
But we got to look at it like this: for the scripture to be fulfilled, he had to be betrayed in this way. That's one. But if they were more on top of him, he probably just wouldn't have got away with the things that he got away with, like stealing the whole time. But would he have still betrayed Christ? Probably, because why? He didn't want to change. The whole point was he didn't want to change. That's why I said that when he gave him sop, Satan entered into him. I would have got a sop and I would have been like, I would have shrunk in my damn seat like, me? Hell no. I would have tried to at least deny it like Peter did. He didn't even speak.
He
didn't even deny it.
He accepted it.
It said as soon as he got the sop, Satan entered into him. To do what? To do what? To further his agenda. It didn't say the spirit of wisdom entered him and he saw where he was off. It says Satan entered in it. Why would Satan enter into a man? To do that wickedness. To now carry it out. Read on where you at.
Verse 30.
Yeah. It's cold, man. Read.
He then, having received the sop, went immediately out.
Wait, he talked to Christ and tried to counsel and figure it out?
Went immediately out.
Read.
And it was night.
Yeah, he was like, man, I'm out. I'm going to betray you. Peace. Where did he go? To go act out his betrayal.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy, right? So he knew, but if you think of Christ has the power to raise somebody from the dead.
Yeah.
You've seen it happen.
He got the power to call down angels.
All that. So you don't think he had the power to, like...
How many of us would have whooped on Judas right then and there? How many of us would have wanted to fight this cat? Just, you get so angry and emotional. Like, damn, bruh, you want to fight a dude. Think about it. But think about Christ, where he said, man, I'm gonna still feed you.
Here's the sop. Y'all know a sop is like a piece of bread.
Yeah. He dipped the bread in the gravy and was like, here, bro. Here, brother. I'm gonna give my enemy, when you give your enemy eat and drink, it's like coals on his head. That killed Judas. He was like, damn, you know I'm gonna betray you and you gonna eat with me? That killed him.
The kiss came before the dinner, though, right?
No, it came after.
So the kiss came after.
Yeah, because they did this, and then after after all this, then he came. This is the kiss is where you'll read where this is how when Judas went to the priest and got the 30 shekels and said, the one that I kiss.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, the one that I kiss is the one that you're gonna take. I'll deliver him up with a kiss, right? That's why he said, betray us thou the Son of Man with a kiss? Like, bruh, you could have just had them come get me at dinner. You could have just had them come get me at dinner. Bro, go to John 12. Let's get through this, because I need to hit. I need to hit something. I need to hit these. Go to John 12 and 3.
John chapter 12 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly,
right?
And anointed the feet of Yahushua.
Yeah, she took some costly oil and she anointed Yahushua's feet. Go ahead.
And wiped his feet with her hair.
Go ahead.
And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment.
Now check out Judas. Read on.
Then said one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him.
Read.
Why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence?
It's like, man, y'all gonna just waste the ointment. How come we didn't sell it, Christ? Check this out. Read.
And give it to the poor. This he said.
He said to do what? And give it to the poor, right? Good. Judas was acting like he cared about the poor. Right. Like, man, we could have sold this to the poor. We could have feed the children. We could have did all these good works. Knowing damn well that's not where his mind was. Read on.
This he said. Not that he cared for the poor.
Yeah, he didn't care for the poor. He didn't care for the poor from the jump. Read.
But because he was a thief.
Because he was a what?
He was a thief.
So when Christ chose him, he was a what?
He was a thief.
Judas was a thief. Have I not chosen you and you have the devil? Judas was a thief from the beginning. Read on.
It had the bag.
It had the what?
Had the bag.
And he held the money bag. When they sold the oils, he was the bank. He kept the money. Think about it. You a thief. I'm going to put you in charge of the money. I want to see what manner of man you are. Yeah, you going to steal from me?
Can you change?
Can you change? Yeah. But most importantly, you know what work we doing. You going to steal from the Most High? You going to be so prideful and arrogant. You going to steal from God? Christ was checking this dude and testing him to see, what type of cat are you? What manner of man? I know what you're going to do, but let's see if we can change it. And put these little small instrumental things in front of you to see if you're going to have a damn conscience. Obviously, he did it. Read on.
And bear what was put therein.
Yeah. He was taking, when it says he bear what was put therein, he was taking stuff out. He was stealing. But this is the point. I bring this scripture to show. Christ had to make him walk his path. It said he was a thief. He didn't just become, it didn't say he became a thief. He was a thief. He was a thief that Christ chose and said, listen, let's get you cleaned up. Y'all are filthy, but this is your imperfection. Give you this money, you're going to be the money man. We're going to see what happens. Let's give it 3 years. Let's see if you change. Let's see if you get a conscience. He let him walk his path. That's what we have to understand, that it's about letting the one walk their path. Go to Luke 22 and 31. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Luke 22 and 31.
Luke chapter 22 and verse 31.
So now we're going to deal with Peter and his betrayal. Because let's be real, Peter did betray Christ for a brief moment, but it happened. Read.
And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you.
Read. So Christ is letting them know aforetime. Yo, Satan wants you. Satan wants all of us. That's a given. Right? He wants all of us, but do you have to give in? No. Do you have to be the betrayer? Be the betrayed. You get more glory that way. Go ahead.
That he may sift you as wheat.
Yeah, he want to sift. He want to divide you. He want to break you down. He want to get up in your spirit. You ever sift wheat? You get all the dirt and filth out of it, and you get the pure wheat at the bottom. He want to sift you, man. He want to sift your mind. He want to shake you up. He want to uproot your spirit. Go ahead.
But I have prayed for thee.
But I have what?
Prayed for thee.
Wait, no, I cast you out.
Prayed for thee.
No, you a wicked nigga. Get up out of here.
Prayed for thee.
Christ said, I pray for you, man. Like we all should be doing when we see imperfections in one another. When we see that a man needs to walk his path, we're supposed to pray that Satan don't take them. We're supposed to pray that they don't get sifted. You ain't supposed to sit there and be like, man, get the hell out, you whack. Or you just want you off. Yeah, you're supposed to point it out, but come back. Pray for that person. Restoring the spirit of meekness, else you be tempted. These are the things that Christ was showing us. These little small things. He could have easily been like, man, I'm about to replace you. Next apostle on the list. I'm sure there was many that wanted to roll with Christ. Just for the fame. Right? Just for the fame. But he said, I what?
Pray for thee.
Read.
That thy faith fail not.
Yeah, he said, I pray for your faith, bruh. I'm praying that you get strong in the faith. Read on.
And when thou art converted, strengthen.
He already knew. He said, and see, he said, listen, and when you're converted, he said, when you're changed, go ahead.
Strengthen thy brethren.
Do what?
Strengthen thy brethren.
You're supposed to strengthen your brethren. You're not supposed to let them walk the negative path that they're set to be on. We all got a path, but does it have to be negative? No. The Most High didn't set us up to do negative. It was always a righteous path. Judas walked his path of negativity, let's be real. He didn't walk just his path. He walked his path of negativity. He chose his path, but Christ let him walk. He was already on a path, and Christ said, well, listen, choose you life. Choose you this day, life or death. Every day I'm bringing you life. Right? Even the apostle said, you have the keys of the words of life. So every day Christ was like, Judas, here's life. And every day Judas was like, nah, nigga, I'm going to do me. I don't want your life. I want to be a thief. Every day. So he walked the negative path. He didn't walk the righteous path. I want to make that clear when we say Judas walked his path. He didn't walk the path that the Most High wanted for him. He walked the path in his own mind. He leaned onto his own understanding. Right? He walked in his own ways. That's what bringing forth death. So I want to make that very clear. He didn't walk like the Most High was like, yeah, Judas, he chose his path. Because it was both set before him. I mean, you walking with the word. You walking with the word. And you said, nah, I'm going to be a thief?
You saw the miracles.
Come on, man. Read on.
Verse 33. And he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee, both into prison and to death.
See, and so Peter comes back like, man, I'm ready to die for this. But what did Christ say? Oh, yeah, you are ready to die. He said, he checked him. Read on.
And he said, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall crow this day. That's a lot. But the cock shall not crow this day before thou shalt thrice deny that thou knowest me.
He was basically saying, listen, man, you ain't got to go to jail. You ain't got to die because something so small as you denying me is going to happen. Y'all understand? Peter was ready to die, but he didn't see that it was something so small as you denying me that was going to happen. Where you got to check that. You deny me, I'm going to deny you. Right? It goes back all, you don't want to, Peter didn't want to suffer with Christ. He would have died and went to prison, but he didn't want to actually suffer. Because what were they doing when they got Christ? What were they doing with everybody else? Right. So when they was like, oh wait, weren't you with him? He was like, nope. Hell no, I wasn't there. I ain't trying to die like him. I don't know him. Right? He didn't want to, but that's why the script, that's why I pull this to show. If you suffer with Christ, you'll also be in glory with Christ. See, Peter lost that part. He lost that part where it was like, okay, here's my time now to really suffer with Christ. So that glory could be abounded in me. I'm going to have to suffer until death for this one. It ain't about having no place to lay my head and running from state to state, city to city. Niggas might have to die for the truth today. But Peter wasn't ready. When it was really coming to pass and happening, because think about it, he was like, listen, I'll go to prison, right? Or unto death. He was speaking it, but when it was time for him to do it, he was like, nah, bruh, I don't want to do that. Nope, he couldn't do it. When he saw that it was real, it wasn't, when he saw the realness of it, the magnitude of the situation, he was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't, think about it. We can all sit here and say we'll die for one another when it's really time. When it's really time, only few are going to really go through. Only a few, man. It's not going. Everybody ain't going to be ready to die for you. You got that one boyfriend that would have died for you in the world, but left you for the other chick. Like, come on, really? You got that one homeboy that's ready to die for you in the world, but can't live for you in the truth. You know, we got to see these things where it's not about dying for one another. It's really about living for one another. That's why Christ had to check Peter, like, bro, you're going to deny me. You're ready to die, but you're going to deny me. You're going to deny that you know me. We've been rolling. But see, that's what's going to happen in these last times. That's what's going to happen when things get hard and harder and harder. It's going to be more betrayal. It's going to be more denying. You was with them, bro. You used to be with them Hebrews, right? Hell nah. Because it's going to come a time when what? If you're a Hebrew, you go to jail. You get killed, right? It's going to cut. These things are going to happen again. The more and more the time and the end comes, the harder and harder it's going to get to be who we're supposed to be. And the more and more people are going to say, you know what? I don't want to do that. I'm going to go back into the world where it's easy, where they 9 to 5, 401k, health insurance, all these carnal things that I think is helping my life be easy. But I'm denying who I am. I'm denying my brothers and sisters. Go to St. John 6:63. Sorry, y'all. St. John 6:63.
St. John chapter 6.
Y'all with me, right? Y'all with me? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not just talking. I want to make sure y'all are with me. Go ahead.
St. John chapter 6 and verse 63.
Go ahead.
It is the spirit that quickeneth.
It's what?
It is the spirit that quickeneth.
Go ahead.
The flesh profited nothing.
Read.
The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit.
They are what?
They are spirit.
Read.
And they are life.
Go ahead.
But there are some of you that believeth not.
See, and I go back to this. This was the first thing I started with. Just showing there are some of you that believeth not. When did the non-belief start to take place?
When the affliction hit.
When the affliction hit. Towards the end, right? Read.
For Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not.
Go to Hebrews 3 and 12. Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 12. Because We got to understand in these end times, like the scriptures say, the land will be barren of faith. Why? Because of this non-belief. People stop believing in anything. Right? All this betrayal. Like, I can't deal with that because them niggas over there is just giving each other up. They wicked. Nobody's sticking around. My husband, you know, he's not around. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. I don't want to be around. The harder and harder things get, the more and more betrayal is gonna happen because people don't want to be around for the hard times. Read Hebrews 3:12.
Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 12. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief.
Wait, unbelief is what?
An evil heart of unbelief.
Why? Read.
In departing from the living power.
Right, because that unbelief is going to cause you to depart from the Most High. Depart from your brothers, your sisters. Most importantly, it's going to cause you to depart from the work. You depart from the work at hand. Read.
But exhort one another.
We're supposed to do what?
Exhort one another.
Read on.
Daily. While it is called today. Lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
Right.
What?
You hardened because of that unbelief. Now you're deceived. Go ahead.
For we are made partakers of Yahushua.
How? We already went through it. Through all the sufferings, right?
Okay.
And then we'll partake when it's time to be glory. Right? Go ahead.
If we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end.
And this is the problem. This is where the betrayal comes from. Brothers don't want to hold their confidence until the end. They don't want to be steadfast until the end. 2 Timothy 3:1. Because why? When it gets hard, somebody get that. Yeah, 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1. Because when it gets hard, it's like, yeah, I can't be around for that. It's too much. It's too much affliction. I'm going through too much. I gotta get my mind right. Let me go get my mind right, and then I'll be back. Where are you gonna go get your mind right out? Out there where your mind was messed up? We got your mind right here. Your mind got right here through the word, through the spirit, not out there. Read that. 2 Timothy 3:1.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come.
Go ahead.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Yeah, this is a betrayer. They love themselves. Read on.
Covetous.
They're what?
Covetous.
They want everything. Read.
Boasters.
They boast. Yeah, I'll die for the truth. I'll die for the brothers. But you won't even live for me. Read.
Proud.
Proud. You got pride. Your pride is so great. You like Judas, where a brother showing you your fault, where you're going to fall, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just wicked. You don't want to accept the correction. Sisters do it. They do it to their husbands. Brother, he's pointing out, this is how we do this is how we get better. I'm just wicked. It's like, if I can't do the wicked thing, I can't do anything. That don't make sense. Like, if it's not my wicked way, it's no way. It's my way, wicked, or the highway, no way. Where, no, we're just trying to show you how to walk the right path. But see, since you're a lover of yourself, since you're covetous, since you're proud, it's all about you. Nobody else's way is going to enter. Read on.
Blasphemers.
Read.
Disobedient to parents.
Read.
Unthankful.
You're unthankful. See, think about Judas and everything that he was dealing with Christ. He was unthankful for the littlest thing. The fact that Christ was like, here's a piece of bread, bro. Here's a piece of bread, even though I know you're going to give me up. He didn't even sit back and take that into account like, damn, this man just fed me. This man fed me. Read on.
Unholy.
Yeah, see, Judas never got clean. Judas never got them evil ways off of him. But it's like any brother that comes in, any sister that comes in, dirty from the world, and they leave off, you know why? They never cleaned off that dirt, that little bit of dirt. That's why we read it in the scriptures. They were made manifest to show that they weren't of us. They weren't of us because they weren't willing to let the word get into their spirit and clean that conscience. Now you unholy. Read on.
Without natural affection.
Judas didn't have no natural affection. That's why when he went to Christ with that whack-ass kiss, Christ was like, bro, you gonna betray me with a kiss? You garbage. Get up out of here with that, man. You gonna do that? No natural affection. The scriptures say, yeah, endeavor to keep the unity, right? Love the brethren. It says all these things. But it gotta be natural. You can see it when there's no natural affection. It's this border. It's this little you can cut. What they say, you can cut the tension with a knife, right? Because there's no natural affection there. There's no natural affection. There's no compassion for what the next man is going through. There's no compassion for what's going to happen to the next man if I leave my post. There's no compassion for my husband if I leave as a wife. There's no compassion to what he's going to have to deal with. No natural affection. Read on.
Truce breakers.
What?
Truce breakers.
Yeah. Truce breakers, man. Breaking vows left and right. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll do this. I'll do that. Times get hard. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. Nah. You always got an excuse. Breaking truces. Go ahead.
False accusers.
False what?
False accusers.
Go ahead.
Incontinent.
Read.
Fierce.
It's not fierce in a good way. This ain't Sasha fierce. Right. Fierce, like, look that up for me. Look up that word fierce. It almost goes with that without natural affection where everything is just brutish. Everything is just loud and boisterous and just without any type of love behind it. You're fierce. You're like a fierce animal. Read on while he gets that. You got it? Let's go ahead.
Fierce. It says wild.
Yeah, you wild.
Rude.
Ooh. Go ahead.
Cruel.
Damn.
A wild beast. Vehement.
Damn.
Violent.
Wow.
Furious.
You see that?
Savage.
Because why? First of all, you're unholy, so you never let the word get into you to get all that about you. What you got?
Eager of mischief.
Damn. You see that? Eager to do mischief. Read on, Jeremiah.
Despisers of those that are good.
Yeah, you despise the good. Judas despised the good that Christ was doing the whole time he was doing it. Brothers that come in here, roll for 15, 20 years and then roll out, they despise the good that was done unto them. You despise the word. You despise the nation. You despise your brothers. You despise yourself. Because the word is only to make us better. That's it. You know, you got to look at it like when a person so-called betrays you, who are they really betraying? You pulled it. You know the scripture.
The Most High.
You forsake yourself. Whose scripture is that? Is that yours or his? Yeah, you forsake yourself.
It's mine.
You forsaken yourself. Because why? You're running away from the help. Think about it. You're running away from the examples on how to go through things. So what does that mean? You're now left out in the cold to fend for yourself.
Whoa.
You said what?
Whoa.
Yeah. That's what it is, though. That's what it is. Think about it. If your example on how to go, if your example in the world is trash, and it never benefited you in the first place, and then you come into the truth, and you got these examples that's building your spirit, growing you, and then you decide to peel off from that, whatever hell you catch in the world, you think they're going to help you? Or be a good example on how to go through it? No. Why? Nobody ever taught them how to go through it. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to be looking at? You're going to have to fend for yourself and live, what is it? You're going to have to, trial by error. Trial by error could mean death. Trial by error can mean death for some. But a lot of us don't see it, where the things that I go through, they can actually kill me if I don't make the right move. But that's why the scriptures say, hardly do we guess aright at the things that are upon earth. Because we don't know the right moves. The right moves comes through counsel. The right moves come through watching the example that already went through. Not watching the world that don't know how to wipe their ass right, that got everything upside down. But this is where we mess up at. You forsake yourself. Read it.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 1 and verse 27.
Read.
Ye have not, as it were, forsaken me.
Yeah, when they leave, he ain't forsaking us. You ain't forsaking the Most High. You ain't really, or you're not betraying me. The Most High is like, yeah, you're betraying. Well, you really betraying the Most High? Have they betrayed you really? Forsaken you? No. Read on.
But your own self.
Yeah, you forsake yourself, because guess what? Does the Most High need the wisdom? Does the Most High need us? But guess what? We need the wisdom and we need each other. You forsake yourself, man. You forsake your own growth. So, I'm saying this for the ones out there in TV land, or the brothers in class, sisters in class that feel like, I need to give up. Or the ones in TV land that are out there teaching and they're not holding on to brothers, sisters, whatever it may be, feeling like they got to give up. No. At the end of the day, it's not about them. It's about you, the Most High, and what you're supposed to be doing. Keep teaching. Keep learning. Read on.
Traitors.
Read.
Heady.
Yeah, you a traitor and you heady. Read.
High-minded.
High-minded. See, these are all the traits that Judas had. These are all the things that Judas came equipped with that he didn't work out of himself. Read.
Lovers of pleasures more than the lovers of the Most High.
Yeah, Judas loved that money. For the love of money, gotta get it, man. Gotta get it. Yeah, Judas loved that money. That's why he was willing to rob the Most High. Read on.
Having a form of godliness.
Yeah, if you see Judas, he appeared like he was godly. Like, damn, he rolling with y'all. He must be godly too, right? He must be an apostle for real, for real. Judas had a form of godliness. Read.
But denying the power thereof.
But inwardly, his inward man denied the power. What was the power that he denied? I keep saying it. What power did Judas deny the Most High? Who knows? Well, what does the wisdom do?
The faith.
What does faith do?
The change that he was supposed to make.
He denied that the Most High can change him. He denied the change. How? Because immediately he let Satan enter into him. Not the wisdom, not the spirit of the Most High, not the words of Yahushua, Satan. He denied the change. It's no different from any brother that's in the same position, any sister in the same position. You deny the change. You deny the wisdom. You deny the fact that the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So you're the ones that believe not. You see how it all goes hand in hand? Read on. Oh, yeah, verse 5.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Having a form of godliness.
Yeah, he got a form of godliness. Judas appeared to have a form of godliness. He appeared to be godly. Outwardly. But is it about the outward?
Wow.
It's about that inward man. Right? It's about putting off the old man and putting on the new man. Judas refused to do this. He refused. Go ahead.
But denying the power thereof.
Read.
From such turn away.
Go ahead.
For of this sort are they which creep into houses.
Which was Judas. He crept along with the apostles, right? Go ahead.
And lead captive silly women laden with sins.
Read.
Led away with diverse lusts.
With what?
Diverse lusts.
Yeah. See, these are the ones that creep up in your house. They got that form of godliness. But they'll uproot your whole house with the gossip, with the gainsaying, right? And then what will they do? They'll leave themselves. They'll leave themselves. I'm sure if Judas could have, he would have took some brothers with him. But them brothers were strong. I'm sure if he could have got to some of the apostles, he would have tried to spit that wickedness in their ear. But them cats were strong. You think he could have went to Peter with that? Like, Peter, I'm about to turn Christ in. Because even when Christ said it, that was going to be betrayed. Peter tried to buck up like, hell nah! You ain't going to die. Christ was like, bro, chill out. Stop. It got to happen. Even Peter was like, no. Yeah, he's like, look, he sliced off old boy's ear. Right? Even Peter was like, this ain't going down like that. Christ had to check him and say, nah, it got to go down like this. Let the will of the Most High be done, Peter. When you think Judas could have went to Peter like, yeah, I'm about to get these 30 shekels. You down? He would have got his damn face chopped. That's his whole head. He would have been beheaded.
Which was one of the reasons why he probably isolated himself.
Yeah, because he
they would have eventually been like, you're off.
You're off.
You're off.
But why do you think Christ said, I've chosen you 12 and one of you have the devil? Right. Christ knew already. The whole point was, and there was Judas though. You said he isolated himself. Yeah. He was the one dipping off. Right? Having excuses. He isolated himself. Yeah. Instead of doing the right thing, let's counsel, let's communicate, let's talk, let's get this out of me. No, I'm about to leave. It's night. I gotta go bend off. I got things to go do. But he out there committing wickedness. Read on.
Verse 7. Ever learning. And never able to come to the knowledge of the truth.
All right, y'all get 2 Peter 2 and verse 9. You think Judas wasn't learning the whole time? You think brothers that come in here and learn for 10 years ain't learning the whole time? The problem is they're not coming to the knowledge of the truth. Is the knowledge of the truth that Christ is black? That ain't the true knowledge of the truth. That's basic. It is the knowledge of the truth. That's part of it. But after that, then what? The knowledge of the truth is knowing that no greater thing than a man lay down his life for his brother. That a brother is born for adversity. The knowledge of the truth is knowing that I got to be there in the hard times as well as the good. Come together not just for the good, but for the bad also. Right? That's the knowledge. The knowledge is, damn, I'm weak, I'm lustful, I'm prideful, I'm faithless. How do I strengthen myself? Not how do I wallow in my faithlessness. Not how do I give up even faster. Brothers, sisters, the knowledge of the truth is that I was filthy and dirty in the world, right? I didn't know how to talk to my husband. I didn't know how to deal with a woman. Now, the knowledge is showing me, oh, wow, whoa. Well, I'm the wife, he's the husband. This is how I'm supposed to deal with him. This is how he's supposed to deal with me. This is how we deal with our children. Not come in and be the same brute beast that you were 10 years ago. The same little skeezer that you were 10 years ago. Jumping from pole to pole, man to man. You ain't supposed to bring that into the truth. The same little whoremonger that you were 10 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. You ain't supposed to engraft that into the word and think that that's where it's supposed to be at. The knowledge of the truth is supposed to change that. It's supposed to kill that old man. 2 Peter 2 and 9.
2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation.
See, Judas wasn't godly. The Most High would have delivered his ass out of the temptation of trying to give Christ up. Out of the lust of, let me get 30 shekels, right, for a man's life. He would have delivered him if he was godly. Go ahead.
And to reverse the unjust unto the day of judgment, to be punished.
Read it one more time. Stop writing and read.
The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of the temptation.
Read.
And to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment, to be punished.
Right, and the unjust are reserved for the day to be punished. You're going to read this in verse 22, so this is going to be the last scripture. Read on.
Verse 10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanliness.
Judas, he walked after the lust of the flesh. Yeah, I know. We probably ain't going to hit it because this ain't the same thing. Judas walked after the lust of the flesh. Betrayers, what are they walking after? Flesh. The lust of their flesh. Why? Because it's no longer what I'm supposed to be doing. It turns back into, this is what, I got to go do what I want to do. I got to go live my life. I got to go deny. It's really like, I got to go deny Christ so I can be denied. That's all it really turns into. Let me go deny Christ so he can deny me when the time comes. That's what you're really saying to yourself, betrayer. Let me go deny Christ. Let me go crucify Christ afresh so that when the time comes, I'm going to go run up to Christ and be like, save me, save me. He's going to be like, I didn't know you. You wicked and slothful servant. You worker of iniquity. I didn't know you. Because guess what? When it was time for you to know me, you abandoned me. You abandoned your brothers. When it was time to give that, be there to give that cup of water, you drank that water for yourself. When it was time to visit the ones in jail and clothe their brethren and house them and do this, you cared about you. Because you walked after the lust of your own flesh. Read on.
The lust of uncleanliness.
Read.
And despise government.
Yeah. You despise government. You despise the government that's set up. You despise the powers that be. So did Judas. Judas forgot that Christ wasn't sent by himself, that the Most High sent Christ. He despised that setup. Ain't no different from a brother that despises government when he comes in here and don't want to be put under tutors. Don't want to follow order. You despise government. A sister that wants to leave her husband because this is too many scriptures. He's just too hard on me. He's putting your ass under government. He's putting you under manners because you need it. But you despise government. You don't see the benefit in it. Go ahead.
Presumptuous.
Read.
Are they? Self-willed.
They're what?
Self-willed.
Yeah, you're self-willed. You're not spirit-willed. The spirit doesn't will you. Your own, what you want wills you. Your own covetousness. Your own lust. Your own gain. That's what propelled Judas. That's what propelled the betrayer. The traitors. They're self-willed. Abadiah.
Is that why it was really easy for Satan to just overtake him?
Yes. Because his own self was wicked. Or I don't want to call him wicked. His own self was evil. Judas was off. Right? He was a thief. Right? It tells you that's not going to enter into the kingdom. Because he had this uncleanness in him. So, all these different traits, think about it. If I know I'm a thief, and I know I'm stealing, one of two things has to happen. I got to either sit back and say, damn, okay, I'm stealing from the Most High, or I'm just a thief in general. It's a wrong spirit to have. Let me seek help. Let me seek help. What greater help than Christ who's sitting right in front of me? Or the pride in me is going to be like, nah, I'm fine. They don't need this money. I need this more than they do. Right? So it's not just the self-willing. It's coupled with pride, lust, covetousness, lack of faith. It's coupled with all these things that are in a man. To where now you just self-will because your pride is telling you, yeah, you need the money. They don't need it. Keep stealing. It's not a bad thing. It's just, it ain't like he was going in there like, they put 300, he take the whole 300. 300 goes in there, he skims off the top, or he might charge somebody a little extra so you can skim off the top little by little, right? Take a pence here, a shekel here, right? And after a while, you do it 2 or 3 times, now it just becomes habit. It becomes routine. Because your pride is like, oh yeah, they ain't missing it. You see that? Self-will. Go ahead.
They are not afraid to speak evil of dignity.
Did not Judas do that when he went and delivered Christ up? Like, yeah, he went to the priest, right? He went to the chief priest and was like, yeah, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this. They're like, yeah, we got to get him out of here. We can't have him doing all these miracles. They're going to follow him. We're going to lose our grip on society. He spoke evil of dignities. Read.
Come, verse 11. Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might.
Angels are greater in power than us. Greater in power than Judas. Read.
And might. Bring not railing accusations against them before the Lord.
Yeah, even the angels don't do this. Even the angels don't even bring accusations against us to the Lord. Think about it. Think about how high your pride got to be. It tells us the angels are more powerful in might and in power and didn't even do what Judas did. They didn't even bring up these. They didn't even speak evil of dignities and railing accusations. Because why? That pride that being a man, that pride that was in Judas, the pride that gets on that betrayer, that one that wants to give up. Like, oh, I'm not needed. You gotta think about it. You gotta be in a real low but high place. You gotta be in a real low place spiritually, but still a high-minded place spiritually to say, I'm no longer needed. I'm not good enough. Y'all understand what I'm saying about that? You got to be real low on yourself, but high in pride. Of course you ain't good enough, bro. Of course. Our righteousness is like filthy rags. We ain't never going to be good enough. Does that mean stop? Does that mean give up on the brethren? Does that mean give up on your nation? That means let me get my filth out. Let me keep washing this rag. Let me wash it till the threads rip, right? Till it just gets, it ain't no longer a rag, it's just a thread. At least I got one clean thread, right? It ain't like, oh, let me just throw away the rag. We gotta wash this rag. We gonna get it clean. We gonna use bleach, peroxide, OxyClean, all that, right? We gonna soak him. Read on.
Verse 12. But these, as natural brute beasts.
They're what?
Natural brute beasts.
Judas was a what?
Natural brute beasts.
Go ahead.
Made to be taken and destroyed.
That's why he hung himself. Read on.
Speak evil of the things that they understand not.
See, and that was the problem. That's the problem with even with betrayal in speech, where you entrust someone with all your intimate secrets, and what do? They gonna tell your business to the world, right? They're not telling your business to get help for you. They're telling your business to make you look bad. They speak evil of the things they know not. They do it to us. When brothers come in, they be here for a little bit. The goings get hard. It's like all of a sudden it's us that made the goings get hard. It's us that brought the affliction. We didn't bring the damn affliction. The affliction was already there. You walked right into it and didn't understand. So now what you out there doing in the world? Speaking evil. Speaking evil. Right? The sister that leaves her husband, same thing. You speaking evil on him, not understanding that this was supposed to happen. Acts 14:22. Right? Read on.
And shall utterly perish in their own corruption.
Did not Judas perish in his corruption?
John.
Don't the ones that come in here get the glory, get the brotherhood, the sisterhood? Don't they go back out there and perish in their corruption? You go back and you get worse. You got 7 more demons on you. You come in with pride, anger, hate, leave, end up out there a homosexual. You're like, damn, how the hell I turned gay? You end up out there getting your kids molested, walking the block, all that. Crack, drugs. Your demon was alcohol. You go back out there and now it's weed, pop mollies, pills. Because why? Now you're in your own corruption. Your own wickedness is going to destroy you. Read on.
And shall receive the reward of unrighteousness.
And that's what they get. Read.
As they that counted pleasure to riot in the daytime.
Read on.
Spots they are and blemish.
And blemishes. See, the ones that want to riot in the daytime instead of getting to work, you're gonna reap your benefit. You're gonna reap your reward. I want to go party in the daytime. I want to party at night. Nigga, when you gonna work? When you gonna put your hand to the plow? We ain't got time to party. But you want to run to the riot. You want to be out there with the ones that's flipping over cars and doing drugs and selling it and partying and kicking it. Right? But when you gonna work? So guess what? You're gonna reap the benefits of the kicking it, flipping over cars, partying, drugs, women, men. You're gonna reap that benefit. Read on.
Gone. Sporting themselves with their own devisings while they feast. Deceivings while they feast with you.
You gotta remember, the whole time they're with us. Oh man, this is the whole time, man. Judas was with Christ. But his whole mind was just gone. The whole time he was like, yeah, I'm here with you, nigga, but I don't want to be here. I want to go spend this money I just stole. Think about it. Why was it so easy for Satan to enter him? Because he didn't want to be there in the first place. He was ordained with God, but he didn't want to be there in the first place. That's why Satan was like, yeah, I'm going to go up in you and you're going to go over there to them. Right? Satan entered him so he could leave and go talk to these priests. Yeah. Think about it. Judas wanted to go right. It ain't no different from the brother that, when they came in and left, they weren't of us. Why? Because they didn't want to do what we do. They wanted to go do their own thing. Read on.
Verse 14. Having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin.
Read.
Beguiling unstable souls.
Right. And they try to beguile unstable souls. They try to look for the next weak brother or sister. I'm weak as hell. Let me see who I can take out. Let me see who's weak with me. Yeah, man, I don't like the way them brothers, you know, like, how come we got to do flyers every Sunday? I just want to watch the game. What's your favorite? No, it starts like this. Man, you watch football? You watch football?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you watch. Man, who's your team, man? Texans, right?
It's Jags now.
Oh, the Jags. Oh, Jags. Man, how come every Sunday we got to do flyers? I just want to watch the game.
That's true.
That's true, huh?
You miss the Jags.
Yeah, you miss your team, huh? It starts out with just some BS just like that. And all of a sudden you questioning why you doing your job. It's like, this is your damn job. All of a sudden you want to watch football on Sundays. Like, why we gotta go do flyers? Now you try to have councils and I don't have enough time you start making excuses now. Now when Sunday comes around, it's like, oh, I gotta counsel my rib brothers. I can't be here. My rib is going to some deal at counsel with her. Or, oh, my mama has said that we got to go over here and do this. But we do flyers every Sunday. Now you got an excuse after all this long? Because you're trying to deceive unstable souls. Go ahead.
A heart they have exercised with covetous practices.
Yeah. Judas, it's covetous, man. Read on.
Cursed children.
Read on.
Which have forsaken.
I'm going a little fast because it's 10:02. This is the last scriptures. Go ahead.
Cursed children, which have forsaken the right way.
They have done what?
Forsaken the right way.
Yeah, you got to remember one thing. The betrayer, he's just forsaking the right way. He's not forsaking you or me. He's just forsaking the wisdom. He's forsaking himself. Read.
And are gone astray.
And they're what?
Gone astray.
So what's our job? Is it to be like, yeah, get the hell up out of here, you wicked, slothful Negro? Nah, we got to do what Christ did. I pray that your faith be strengthened. I'm going to pray for you, brother. We're going to pray for you, Ike. Read.
Following the way of Balaam, the son of Besor.
Read.
Who loved the wages of unrighteousness.
Go ahead.
But was rebuked for his iniquity.
Right. Y'all know the story of Balaam and the donkey, right?
God.
Read.
The dumbass speaking with a man's voice forbade.
He forsook the way with the Most High used a dumb ass to wake him up, to kill his madness. Was he, the Most High speak once, yea twice, then perceive it not. Ain't no donkey gonna start talking to brothers and sisters to get them right. That's us. We're to speak once, to speak twice. If you don't get it, then it's like, damn, he didn't get it. Now he gotta go learn in some other way. She gotta go learn in some other way. But again, is it for us to take personal? Is it for us to be mad at? It's really for us. You know what their example is? When they do come crawling black, bloody and beaten, when they come crawling back, bloody, beaten from the world, that's your example of faith. To say, damn, what I'm doing is the right thing. I don't gotta get bloody and bruised to make it to the kingdom. All I gotta do is just go through this light affliction. All I gotta do is be there for my brother. Be an example. Let the altar, the house, the sanctuary rest on my shoulders. All I gotta do is be a pillar. All I gotta do is be the foundation. That's it. I don't gotta go out there and get beat up by the world. That's harsh. That is harsh. When you see them come back in, it's just like, damn. And it's not our job to judge or condemn either. Or condemn to the point where when they do come back, it's like, what are you back here for? Brothers do that. Like, what are you here for? Their intentions will show them and us what they're here for. Their intent. We got to let their intent play out. We don't stop the intent. Unless they're trying to kill somebody, then yeah, it's like, nah, bro. But that their intentions have to come out. And you'll see it. And then you put a stop to whatever. Not saying that a person's supposed to just ride in wickedness up in here. Hell nah, we don't do that. We check it. We warn. But it says after the second and third, he that is a heretic after the first and second admonishing, right? Reject. So you got to reject their deposit. You got to get it. You do have to get them out of here. Read on.
Con, verse 17. These are wells without water.
Yeah. What use is a well without water? It's a big asshole. Read.
Con, clouds that are carried with a tempest.
Go ahead.
To whom the midst of darkness is received forever.
It's reserved forever.
It's like reserved forever.
Yeah, clouds carried with tempest. Like you see these clouds, it's like these dark, deep clouds. It's thundering. It's lightning. You're like, damn, it's about to rain. You know, all of a sudden ain't no rain. You're like, the hell was all that about? What was that for? You're like, they're like a cloud with carried about by tempest. There's no rain. They just all talk, all show. But it's for a reason, so you can see what is their intent. Read on.
Verse 18. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity.
Wait, of spirit?
Of vanity.
When they speak the oracles of the Most High?
Vanity.
All they do is speak vanity. You're like, damn, when is this man going to speak some spiritual things? All he talking about is his car, his clothes, his hoes. All he talking about is what he don't got. All he talks about is his bike. All he talks about is bedding out in the lanes. How much he could drink. What he wants to eat. When he wants to go sleep. All I love is my bed. He don't never talk about like the spiritual things. He don't never talk about scriptures. Let's talk about the 12 tribes. Let's talk about the text. Let's break down this scripture. Let's talk about this. What's going on in your house? How's your family doing? It's always about me. Vanity. My bike, my money, my car, my house. I want to go sleep. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I need to drink. Always speaking vanity. Go ahead.
They allure through the lust of the flesh.
Read.
Through much wantonness.
Always wanting something. You can never be content with what the Most High gave you. You always got to take it upon yourself to be that hustler. Just be content. Stop being so wanting. Everything you see, you got to get. I understand it. If you wanting for the truth, like, damn, my spirit ain't big enough. How do I get it to grow? Well, you got to study more. You got to get in there. But it's always like, man, how do I get some carnal crap? Man, I need these shoes. I need this car, this bike, this house, this drink. I need to be eating these types of steaks. I always talk about what I need carnally instead of saying, damn, how do I build my spirit? Well, I need to take my test, take on more responsibility, right? Need to communicate more. I don't do that well. Those are two things on the list. Read on.
Come. Those that were clean escaped from them who live in error.
Read.
While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For
did not Judas roll with Christ and damn exorcise demons out of people?
Come.
Read that one more time. Read verse 19.
Verse 19. While they promised them liberty.
Listen, wasn't Christ, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free?
God.
Was not Judas a part of that?
God.
He promised liberty, but what?
But they themselves are servants of corruption.
But the whole time he was serving corruption. Read on.
For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage.
Verse 20.
Come. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior Yahushua,
read,
they are again entangled therein.
Check this out. So if you come from the weak and beggarly elements, when you get pulled from your mire, when that blood gets cleaned off of you, because when in the world you were that baby that nobody swaddled, cleaned, right? You were birthed and fell on the damn ground. Nobody came and cut that cord and cleaned you up and nurtured you. But then when you come into the wisdom, The wisdom nurtured you. The brotherhood, the sisterhood, the nationhood nurtured you, cleaned you up, right? You escaped the pollution. It says, and they are again entangled therein. If you're foolish enough to go back into your blood, read.
And overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning.
Yeah, it's going to be worse for you later on than it was before you knew the truth. This is how we got to be looking at these people like, damn, they worse off than they worse off. You got to have pity on them. We supposed to have pity like, damn, Yahweh, don't destroy this man or woman. Bring them back and get them right. Read.
Verse 21. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness.
It had been better for what?
For them not to have known the way of righteousness.
Listen, it would have been better for Judas not even to roll. It would have been better for Judas not even to roll, bro. He was better off just being a thief without the knowledge. Now you a thief knowing to not to do bad? You a thief with the knowledge? Like, what the hell? What kind of contradiction is that? It was better that you just stayed a thief without the wisdom, without me being here. Go ahead, read on.
Then after they have known it,
go ahead,
to turn from the holy commandment delivered to them, unto them.
Read.
Verse 22. But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again.
Yeah, you like that dog that ate, vomited, let it sit for like 5 minutes, and then was like, damn, I didn't get enough food over here. Let me go back to my vomit and lick that up. You ever see a dog lick his vomit?
God.
Imagine that. You ever think about you vomiting and you want to go eat that? Think about that. You eating some old bile. It ain't even food. There's no substance to it. Oh my God. Are y'all feeling me? Are y'all Man, I was reading this, man. When I was putting this class together, I read this. I was like, wow.
Right.
Where does the mind gotta be? Where does your mind gotta be to get to this state where it's like, I'm gonna go back to pimping, whoring, being strung out on drugs, being a damn deadbeat, being a lowlife, being a skeezer, being a thief, right? Being a homosexual, all these different things, being a simp. It's like, come on, man. The Most High strengthen you and you gonna go back to weakness?
But it's like you said earlier, it's like a person that does that, their spirit is so low, but then their pride is so high, or their, that high-mindedness.
That high-mindedness.
Right, that they don't feel that they're worthy enough to pick themselves up and change their mind state.
And then it's like, well, I can make it out there now. I got the tools to make it out there. Listen, man, I speak to y'all from experience. If you don't sharpen them tools, they get dull, and you start losing. You might be sharp when you get out there because you got one up on everybody. You got the wisdom of the Most High. So you're able to move around and move in the corners and be harmless as a dove, wise as a serpent. You applying that scripture to the T, right? Because you out there with a bunch of damn zombies. But what happens when them zombies start dulling your tools? Because there's no iron to sharpen you. Iron sharpeneth iron. Them niggas out there is paper mache. They dirt. Imagine if you put a knife in dirt. It dulls them. It dulls the knife. So you just hitting dirt the whole time. Your iron is never getting sharp. So now, after a while, it's like, damn, how come I'm not winning these battles? How come the wisdom ain't working? Because your wisdom is getting dull. You said what? Oh, you said what?
No, I said you running out of bullets. It's like a zombie apocalypse in my head. It's like you running out of bullets. You used everything you've got to get you so far.
Yeah.
Like you left the home base. You left the fortress.
Yeah. But the point is you got dull. You were sharp at one point. You got dull because the pride told you that the wisdom I have, I'm going to be able to just live now. I'm going to take the wisdom of the Most High and engraft it into the world, and I'm going to be okay. Forgetting that, I got to constantly be sharpening my blade. My sword got to be damn razor sharp at all times. Read on.
Con. And the sow that was washed.
The sow.
The sow that was washed.
A pig.
All right. To her wallowing in the mire.
Yeah. Think about it. You wash that pig off. You wash that sow, and what does she want to go do? Get right back in the mud. She don't want to stay clean. We can't be like that. We can't be like that. So, you know, hopefully with this class, man, y'all saw different aspects of this betrayal and how we should take it, what we should do with it. And our general outlook shouldn't be one of, I'm hurt. I can't move on. I can't move forward. It should be like, damn, you done screwed yourself. Hopefully you get back in it. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep moving forward. Y'all understand that? So, I mean, I kind of had a feeling we wasn't going to be able to get to questions. Questions online. Hold on. So Friday, I wanted to get these scriptures out, man. It was a lot. And I knew how to take questions. I would have had to part 3 this, so you don't part 3 this. This only is a part due. Part due. So yeah, if they got questions online, hold them until Friday. We will be back with another class from 6 to 9. Again, anything that you want to give for the Passover, help us out. It's coming up. The weeks is flying by, man. It's wild. Today is Wednesday. It felt like it was just Friday, yesterday. Today is Wednesday. It's flying. It's going to be the 1st here pretty soon. What are we, February? Right? It's going to be the 1st of March here pretty soon. We already in the 14th of February, man. We already halfway through the month. So we got literally a month and a half until the day of Passover. So whatever you want to donate, get your garments up, garment money in. And with that, we're going to end class. Questions online, again, bring those back on Friday, okay? All right? Go ahead and salute them online.
Shalom.